You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News waking up on a Code Red weather alert, but many things have changed in the last 12 hours. No severe weather threats. Now we're worried about a rain and flooding threat. We'll get to that in a few minutes.
Also now on Fox 17 News this morning, a shootout just outside the downtown WeGo bus station leaves a teenager critically hurt. You can see the man right there at the center of your screen arrested in this case. We'll give you some details. Plus, we're learning more about the victims of a deadly plane crash in Williamson County. We're going to tell you what investigators have learned so far. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4 a.m. Congratulations, you made it to Friday. I'm Justin McFarland. We are starting Fox 17 News this morning with a Code Red weather alert. This is as rain will be pouring down over the mid-state over the next couple of hours as you're taking a live look there over the Cumberland River, where the water levels are continuing to see an impact. Really, they hadn't recovered from the storm that happened just a few days ago. Let's get now to Greg Bobus. He's standing by with a look.
Yeah, the forecast here for us has dropped all severe weather. So as we're waking up and going through this, just know that we're code red for possible flooding, taking us this morning and toward the afternoon. You take a look at the radar right now. Everything is light to dark green, which means that it's not heavy rainfall. It is light and consistent, steady rainfall, which is really good. The only areas we're seeing some decent downpours here are just moving into the viewing area right now for us here, tracking toward Lawrenceburg. But this is going to be how we're looking at the next several hours. Light rainfall, overspread here across most of Middle Tennessee. Prepare for it, leave a little bit early. Know that it could slow you down just trying to get up and out the door here this morning. Our Metro Center camera already has the weekend off, even though it's only Friday morning. Taking a look here. The weather story, no severe weather. Rainy morning for us here. Every hour looking better than the hour before when it comes to flooding potential. If we don't get very heavy, consistent rainfall this morning, which it looks like we won't, we may even drop code red before we get to 9 o'clock this morning. That's how good we're looking to start off. We don't want the rain because it can be a nuisance. It can cause issues getting out the door. But right now we're seeing no flooding. Taking a look. Severe weather potential. Do you see a color? No. We've dropped everything. No wind threat and also no hail threat that we thought we might have to work through today. That is gone. So today, the only thing we're watching out for is a low-end spot flooding potential. Spot flooding, meaning a spot or two on the map might have some standing water that gets a little bit higher for us here. And we'll keep our eyes on it here throughout the morning. 75 degrees today, 80 degrees tomorrow. We got to talk about your weekend. Weekend rain chances actually might be heavier tomorrow than today. We'll work you through that coming up in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic gets us out the door at I-40 at Donaldson Pike out towards the airport. As you can see there, traffic moving along pretty well. No big problems in either direction. We did have some overnight constructions in certain spots around the city, but even that has started to pick up their barrels and move on. So no major crashes to get us started so far, but that can change within a moment's notice with steer clear traffic, especially with the rain moving through. We'll continue to keep you up to date throughout the morning. Well, we do have new details this morning on a Wednesday deadly plane crash that took place in Williamson County. Investigators say that the pilot was a Baton Rouge plastic surgeon named Lucius Doucette III. They say he and his children, they were twins, Giselle and Jean-Luc, were killed on impact. The twins were set to graduate from Louisiana State University today. Now, the federal investigation says that the Beechcraft B-35 was headed from Baton Rouge to Louisville, Kentucky. Then about 10 minutes before the crash, radar shows that the plane sped up and that the flight path became very erratic.
Shortly thereafter, credible witnesses that we've already spoken with described the airplane as being an approximate level attitude with both wings folding backwards and the airplane going violently out of control.
Now investigators will be using data from the plane's flight instruments to piece together exactly what went wrong there in the sky. Well, new this morning, Metro Police say that one man is under arrest for shooting a teenager on the steps of the WeGo bus station in downtown Nashville. Now, police say it was 31-year-old Kenneth Johnson, a convicted felon, who shot an 18-year-old and left him in critical condition. However, that 18-year-old is stable. You can see the person they arrested there. Officers say that the teenager had a gun and fired back. They say what could be cocaine and marijuana were found at the scene as well. Police say Johnson will likely face felony charges related to this shooting. 4:05 is the time, and we've got breaking news as Metro Police are confirming that a shooting happened on Chestnut Hill overnight. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live at the scene to tell us exactly what happened.
Good morning, Justin. Dispatch tells me that the call came in around 1 this morning, and I just spoke with a detective here on scene behind me near the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street that tells me that a man was found dead lying on the street. He wasn't able to reveal how old he was or any other details at this moment. It's still early. They also are not sure if it was one suspect, multiple suspects, but they do tell me that they haven't been caught yet. We're working to find out more details surrounding the circumstances of what happened, and we're also working on potentially talking to some eyewitnesses to give you all more information. Reporting live here in Chestnut Hill, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, Chestnut Hill there on the south side of downtown. Thank you so much. Coming up, severe weather has left multiple people dead. This is in the middle of all the flooding and storm tracking that is happening right now that is forcing some skyscrapers to even come face to face with the storm. And Nashville SC's head coach
would have never made me feel more safe.
If a school district do not want to implement this policy, they don't have to.
Fox 17 News at 9 digs deeper into local stories that impact you.
.408 is the time. Live look there. This morning, not sure from where. This is Houston, Texas. Okay. Live look this morning from Houston, Texas. I was trying to figure it out based on the skyscrapers there, but not familiar with Houston skyscrapers much, but there it is. You can see there traffic moving along pretty well. They've got cloudy conditions there in Houston as well. They've had a rough go there in Houston as of late. As a matter of fact, that's where 4 people have died as multiple rounds of powerful storms have created floods throughout the South. This is very unsettling video from the city of Houston. Officials say at least 4 people in Houston again has died because of that severe weather. One building there partially collapsed and some of the skyscrapers have shattered windows. Utilities say that nearly 1 million homes and businesses were without power in Texas yesterday. Well, we do have an update to bring you from the breaking news that was taking place on 65 this time yesterday. We now know that 1 man was killed in that crash, which happened on 65 near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, and that exit is shut down the interstate for hours. Authorities say that a person named Roger Rowland was driving south in the northbound lanes when he hit a semi head on. In other words, a wrong way crash. Rowland died at the scene. The driver of the semi is being treated for minor injuries. The investigation as to how that driver ended up going the wrong way on the interstate is ongoing. A man is arrested after police say they found him driving a carjacked vehicle with drugs and guns and more. Now, police say that detectives spotted a Dodge Charger yesterday that was taken in a carjacking on Monday and followed it to a store on Nolensville Pike. They say that's where they arrested 22-year-old Kelvin Ramirez. Police say that they found a pistol, a ski mask, as well as cocaine and almost $2,000 in cash. Now, Ramirez is facing several charges. We've got a developing story from Nashville SC as Gary Smith, their head coach, is officially out as the Nashville SC head coach. This is after their worst ever start since they joined Major League Soccer. The club announced yesterday that it has parted ways with Smith after 7 seasons with the club. Now, Smith was the club's very first coach in their franchise history and helped them to transition into MLS play back in 2020. Smith became just the 4th MLS expansion team, or Nashville did, to make the playoffs in each of his first 4 seasons. However, this season has been a different story for Nashville SC. They've won just 5 of their past 27 MLS games. Ben Wright with the MLS and Broadway Sports Media explains.
I think maybe that is a little bit surprising that he just wasn't given more time to right the ship. But also, I think maybe some of the signs and the writing had been on the wall here for a while. So I think there's probably an argument to be made that Nashville thought it was time to just move on.
Now, the team's player development coach, Rumba Muntali, will be taking over as the interim head coach. Tomorrow, Nashville SC will be taking on Atlanta FC. That game is taking on at Geodis Park at 12:45.
The radar. This is not going to be one of those days where we have to worry about anything with severe weather, just some potential flooding going in toward the afternoon. We'll break it down in your COVID forecast.
We're watching steer clear traffic as the rain starts to move in over Metro Nashville. We're going to tell you about any problems it may cause. And after President Biden claims executive privilege to keep audio
closet into a place of endless expression with the quality, styles, and prices you love. Max what makes you, you.
4:14 is the time. Let's check in with your forecast. Greg Bobus is standing by as we've gone code red here, but the threat of what turned these lights on is starting to come down quite a bit.
It is to the point to where by the time we go off the air at 9 o'clock this morning, there might be beautiful blue behind you.
Nice.
And not the red. Things are going down hour by hour. Right now, we've gotten rid of a wind threat. We've gotten rid of a hail threat. Now we're just talking about rainfall, which has gotten lighter and lighter, which is good. Now, there are a couple of showers that are out there that are giving us some decent rainfall moving toward the Lawrenceburg area here, so our southwesternmost counties, but everyone else just has this steady, very light rainfall. And this is going to continue to be the case here for a good portion of this morning. The afternoon will bring in a few thunderstorms here for us. And again, our cameras, we'll get them back up for you here. They're just kind of waking up with us. But no severe weather. This is the best part. This is all dropped out. All of our category risks have gone back to 0 when it comes to wind, hail, and tornadoes. The only thing we're watching out for is spot flooding, meaning the areas that had flooding last week from the 7, 8, 9 inches of rain that came down very quickly. They could see rising water levels throughout the morning. So until we get indicators that that's not going to be the case, we're going to keep code red going for you here, just knowing it is a rain and standing water threat. But so far overnight, every hour has looked better, hour by hour. Here's our severe weather outlook. It is completely clear. Taking a look at our threats, I've dropped off the wind and the hail. We're just only worrying about isolated areas of some flooding. Regardless, though, that water could give us some issues here. Just trying to get the kids out the door this morning for school and trying to get from point A to point B when it comes to work as well. There will be some rain coming down. Lunchtime, isolated storms. Not a guarantee that all 3 hours we have storms everywhere, because there won't be storms everywhere, but a few showers and thunderstorms to contend with. Today's highs will be in the middle 70s coming up in the next check of the forecast. We've got to talk about your weekend because we're not done. Active on Saturday and early Sunday as well.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's take a quick look here at I-40. This is over at Dallas and Pike near the airport. We're doing just fine over there. No big problems in either direction. Inside that is east or west. We're doing okay out there near the airport. Let's check in over at I-65 at Trinity Lane. Also doing well despite the fact some rain has been falling out there and streets are a little wet. We'll continue to keep you up to date with whatever it is that we find. But right now, honestly, doing pretty good out there when it comes to your traffic. Well, coming up here in the next few minutes, we are going to be seeing some live pictures there about the Tour de Nash. It is not quite as long as the Tour de France, but still a very big deal for bike riders in Music City. Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is out there. Oh, I'm sorry. This is going to be Madison. Madison Spraker. I'm sorry, Madison. She's out there listening. Madison Spraker is live for us out there, taking a look at what is happening over in the Nations. Now, this is the 20th annual event, and it kicks off on 51st Avenue and Illinois Avenue. All different lengths of biking routes, from 1 mile kid routes to a 45-mile route that will go all over Nashville. Riders will start to gather at 7:30 tomorrow morning, and the bike riding begins at around 7:45. You're likely to see all of the bicycles flying around Music City throughout the morning. The Tour de Nash raises funds for Walk Bike Nashville, which of course advocates for safer neighborhoods for walking and biking across the city, and has done so for many years. To Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson criticizing President Biden's decision to assert executive privilege over recordings of his interview with special counsel Robert Hur. Now, the interview was part of a probe into President Biden's handling of classified documents. Johnson had been accusing Biden of being afraid of the voters to hear these particular tapes.
The American people will not be able to hear why prosecutors felt the President of the United States was, in Special Counsel Robert Hur's words, a, quote, elderly man with a poor memory, and thus shouldn't be charged.
Well, House Republicans are investigating Hur's decision not to charge the president in this case. They are moving forward with contempt proceedings against the Attorney General Merrick Garland over his refusal to turn over the files. But the White House notes that the Department of Justice has already provided transcripts of the interview to lawmakers. White House counsel is accusing Republicans of wanting to distort the recordings for political purposes. See what happens. Other news from there in Washington, House lawmakers have approved a bill yesterday to force the delivery of bombs to Israel. Now, the measure cleared the chamber, 224 votes to 187 votes. 16 Democrats crossing over to vote with Republicans to get this done. The bill comes in response to President Biden's recent pause on the bomb shipments to Israel over concerns about how they would be used, namely on civilians in Gaza. Now, if the measure passes, Congress would withhold funding for the State Department and the Pentagon and the National Security Council until that decision and delivery is made. The White House says that President Biden will veto the bill, and the Democratically led Senate is very likely to reject it as well. Well, President Biden is commemorating the 70th anniversary of the landmark Supreme Court ruling that outlawed racial segregation in public schools. Now, he met privately with family members of the plaintiffs of the historic 1954 case of Brown versus the Board of Education at the White House yesterday. After several attendees talked about their meeting, including the daughter of the late Reverend Oliver Brown. Oliver Brown was the lead plaintiff in that case back in the 1950s.
That the folks that you see here were taking a risk when they signed on to be part of this case. Anytime you pushed back on Jim Crow and segregation, you know, your life, your livelihood, your homes, you were taking a risk. He thanked them for taking that risk.
President Biden also signed a proclamation declaring that day, May 17th, as the 70th anniversary of the Brown versus the Board of Education ruling. Well, coming up, the Tennessee Titans schedule is out, and we're taking a look at how difficult it could be for the team.
Or 29 or visit lifelock.com/25TV to save 25% on your first year of identity theft protection. Enroll now.
Good morning, 423 here, Friday morning. We made it to it, and taking a look here, what do we have in store for us today? 75 degrees this afternoon. We're going to keep it away from the 80-degree mark because of some overcast sky and a couple of scattered showers this morning. The rain, though, fairly light right now, which is good news. Now, we do have the red lights on. We are in code red, just watching for any potential flooding this morning. If the rain stays light like this, we'll lift the code red and we're good. No severe weather for this afternoon. All chances for wind gusts that could be aggressive or hail that we thought we might see today, those are gone. Sunset today, 7:48. Unfortunately, not the sunniest of days ahead of us. And unfortunately, you're probably not getting the lawn mowed here the next couple of days because that steady rainfall will lead to a few isolated thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Then tomorrow, scattered showers and storms as well. And those don't wrap up until early on your upcoming Sunday. Keep that in mind. Weekend rain is there. So let's talk about your weekend. We finally got close enough to it to where you might be making your plans, trying to figure out what you can do. On your Saturday, 80% chance for rain, scattered showers and storms all week in nature, but they will be there. Some soaking rain is possible all day on and off throughout your Saturday, and then Sunday will finally start drying out a touch here. The first few hours of the day give us a chance for a few showers, but then we'll get a little sunshine to end it, and we'll see our temperatures beginning to climb. 84 degrees will be your temperature on Sunday. To track this morning's rain and rain throughout your weekend, hit the Fox 17 Code Red weather app, scan that QR code right there, or head to the App Store and just type in Code Red.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Let's get you out to I-40 at Fessler's Lane. This is just east of downtown. We're doing okay over there in that particular area. No big holdups in either direction. It's exactly what we like to see. But of course, things can and will change. And when they do, we got you covered with Steer clear traffic as we are watching things, as always, live and local through 9. Well, the Tennessee Titans officially released their brand new schedule on Wednesday, and now you have the opportunity to circle some of those big games, and we can also compare it to the rest of the league. Now, Sharp Football Analysis, they're the ones taking a look at this. They took a look at all 32 teams and ranked their schedule based on how difficult they thought it was going to be. These numbers are based off of projected win totals from Las Vegas odd makers. And according to this projection, the Titans have the 6th toughest schedule in all of football. You can see it right there. They are right behind the Vikings there at number 5. Steelers, Patriots, Browns, and Ravens round out the top ones there. This has a lot to do with their non-divisional matchups. The Titans are going to be matching up with the Lions and the Jets, as well as the Dolphins and Bills. That's the whole AFC East, and they are expected to do very well this upcoming season, so we'll see. So we want to hear from you. Do you think the Titans have a difficult schedule this season or not? Very divided, but it's very early on this too. 50-50. Some say yes, some say no. If you want to chime in for that, you can do so by scanning that QR code right there on the side of your screen. You can also join us on X. You can find us at Fox Nashville. More sports to tell you about. The opening round of the PGA Championship finds Scotty Scheffler on the par 4 hole, and he gets the second shot and finds the hole there for an eagle. Nice job there. If you watch that shot again, this is happening at the championship there in Kentucky. Wow, what a shot. Now Scheffler wrapping up at 4 under, tied for 12th in this particular case. The leader right now is Alexander Scheffler, who has a 9 under par, tied for the lowest round in the major history at this point. Some other notable names, including Rory McIlroy at 5 under, tied for 5th overall. Folks like Tiger Woods with 1 over at this point. He is way down, tied for 85th on the leaderboard. Taking a look at Steer Clear traffic. We are doing okay on I-40 at Fessler's Lane. We're going to take a look at some other areas of town coming up in a few. Also, a man found dead in the street after a shooting in Nashville. We're going to tell you what detectives have found out about this so far. And a troubled downtown area as unlicensed taxi driver.
We denied your claim. I had never had to have a lawyer before. I didn't know where to start. Don't wait. You never want to just deal with the insurance company. I promise you it's not what you deserve.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up here to wet pavement. We have steady light rainfall coming down right now. The potential for flooding keeps us in code red for the time being, but I've got really good news coming your way in moments in your code red forecast.
Police confirm that one man is found dead lying on the street in South Nashville. Coming up, I'll tell you what I know from detectives so far.
Clear traffic takes us to I-24, Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. We're doing fine down there. We've got the very latest on anything else happening across the mid-state. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. Congratulations, you made it to Friday. I'm Justin McFarland, just after 4:30. Let's get straight to Greg Bobus. He's going to tell us why the red lights are on here in the studio as we continue to watch your forecast.
Yes, red lights are still on, but I mentioned some good news, which we'll get to. It has to do with severe weather. I'm not seeing any indications of it later on this afternoon, which we thought we might have to work through. However, we're still code red for right now. I want to watch this rain continue to track through the area and make sure we're not going to see any flooding concerns this morning. So we're in code red for the possibility of a few more showers like we're seeing right now in our southwestern counties that could flare up and give us some decent heavy rainfall for small amounts of time that could lead us into some spot flooding in a few isolated areas. But just know that you can go about your day without worrying about severe weather. This is the last hour. Rain went from almost nothing to picking up, and this will kind of be the case this morning. We're going to get these pockets that do flare up, and then they give you a good half hour with some soaking rain, and you go back to the regular steady on and off rainfall. That is your morning. Pack the rain gear. I would leave a little bit early. It's a Friday morning. We're all kind of anxious to get to work and get home. Don't be too anxious. Hohenwald here. In the next 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to go from that light, steady pitter-patter of rainfall to a decent downpour. And even visibility here before sunrise could be limited as well. Keep that in mind. Our South Nashville camera, overall, a pretty good looking day. And if that rainfall does not give me any indications of flooding leading into about 7, 8 o'clock this morning, odds are good you're going to see some blue lights behind us here, and we'll drop code red. But right now, monitoring, always making sure we're okay. Heading out the door, be prepared for steady rainfall. Scattered afternoon storms we'll look at on Future Track coming up in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with outside. This is going to be I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. As you can see there, traffic moving along without issue. We're doing just fine. No big drama out there so far this morning. Same goes for the drive times. We're doing good. 26 minutes from Mount Juliet, 50 minutes from Murfreesboro, 25 minutes in from Franklin. If and when things change, we've got you covered with Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. We are following breaking news. This is from the Chestnut Hill neighborhood. This is on the south side of Nashville, just outside of the downtown loop. They say one man was killed overnight after a shooting. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar has been talking with detectives there on Hart Street with the very latest information.
Still working to learn if Metro Police has any leads in this.
Good morning, Justin. It's a grim morning for one family who police confirmed their loved one is dead from that shooting. A detective tells me that right here behind me at the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street, one man was found laying on the street with a gunshot wound to his head. Dispatch tells me the call came in around 1. Of course, out of respect for his family, we can't show you police investigating the scene where he is, but we are working to find out who he is, age, and name. The medical examiner is also here doing a preliminary report. The detective tells me that there might be more than one suspect, but it's still very early in their investigation. The detective also tells me that the suspect or suspects are still not in custody. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting live here in Chestnut Hill, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Thank you, Karen. We've got continuing coverage as more people come forward with stories about problems with unlicensed taxi cabs. Now, several musicians say they have been ripped off or threatened by taxi drivers who don't even have a Metro license to operate downtown. And they say it's hard to tell which taxis are licensed and which ones are not. McMinnville is a local musician who performs at Broadway at popular bars like Tootsie's. He says that he's had friends who've been threatened and even slapped by drivers. He says he's been ripped off because drivers are not using a meter that they are legally required to use.
They get scammed. They get in, they plug their phone in, and then they get told they can't go in. They go to grab their phone, and next thing you know, they're getting punched by the taxi driver.
Fox 17 News reached out to the director of the Metro Transportation Licensing Commission twice this week to see if they're aware about this issue, and so far we have not heard back. A TLC board member says they do have regulations and enforcement as people who can respond to all of the complaints out there, but people are saying more needs to be done to make it obvious on the outside which taxis are legal and which ones are not. Well, coming up, the New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez on the trial as prosecutors are accusing him of taking bribes from foreign countries. And the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, says she will debate whoever Donald Trump picks to be his VP nominee. We're going to tell you when that debate could happen and when her opponent could be chosen. Fox 17 News continues to follow not just your weather, but also steer clear traffic as well, as we're your only station that can do that live from now all the way through 9 o'clock.
Arriving in Brentwood at 4:15 on Wednesday.
Providing you the information needed to prepare and stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
4:38, waking up here. Our next weather maker is a very rainy start to the day for us to kick off your Friday. The good news is that this has gone from stormy to rainy, meaning we're not worried about code red for any severe thunderstorms. This is more of a rainfall and potential flooding scenario that we've worked ourselves into here early on this Friday morning. Let's take a look at the radar. Most of us have been seeing for the past couple of hours the green color on the map. That's good. If we have to have rainfall, let's keep it that way. We keep it with the greens and we keep it with just light, steady rainfall. However, in the last hour, we have worked into a few heavier downpours that are beginning to develop in our southwestern counties. They're quick movers, though, which is good. They'll get in and out of your area within a good 25 to 30 minutes. Tracking through Waynesboro right now, almost out. Moving toward Hohenwald, Linden, and then eventually Centerville here in the coming minutes. I'll tell you, Linden, right now you're going to see that changeover to heavy rainfall almost momentarily while we're talking right here. Taking a look at Hohenwald, another 5 minutes or so. Lobelville about 10, and then Centerville about 15 minutes from right now. No thunder, no lightning, no severe weather this morning or afternoon. But what is the rain going to do for our morning commute? Well, steady rainfall going to be out there for a good chunk of it, all the way through 9 o'clock. So we'll call it showers, light to moderate. Areas of standing water, watch out for them. Sunrise here is still more than an hour away from right now.
Clear traffic out there at 440. Quick look at I-40 at Fessler's Lane. This is just east of downtown. As you can see there, traffic is doing nice out there this morning. We are moving along here. No big problems towards the airport. No big problems coming in from Antioch. We're also good from the north side. We'll continue to follow things with steer clear traffic because we got you covered live and local through 9. Opening statements from New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez and his federal corruption trial got underway in New York City on yesterday. Now, the Democratic lawmaker from New Jersey is accused of being bribed for favorable deals and calling for United States military aid for some foreign governments. Lawyers for two of the senator's alleged co-conspirators denied the bribery accusations and said that they are friends with him. And that's why they gave him the gifts, including the jewelry, alcohol, watches. Menendez's wife, Nadine, is also facing charges and is scheduled for a July trial. The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, has now accepted a debate invitation from CBS News. Now, the Biden campaign says that Harris has agreed to debate Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee, whoever he picks. That's coming up here this summer. The vice president's team says that she would participate in an in-studio debate on either July 23rd or August 13th. Former President Trump is expected to announce his VP pick during the Republican National Convention that's coming up in July. His campaign has not responded to that debate invitation. Well, coming up, a man has drowned at a mid-state boat ramp. We're going to tell you about the investigation into his death as drowning deaths are on the rise across the country. And reclassify.
Common side effects include sneezing, cough, and throat and nose irritation.
Relying only on drops? Not me. My own real tears are my relief.
Ask your eye doctor about Tearvia.
443 going on 444 is live look there in downtown Nashville as we've got a code red weather alert. The rain that's coming in, we thought it could be a little stronger than it ended up being, but Greg Bobus is still watching it for you as you take that live look, and he'll let you know how much longer the raindrops will be around. We're new this morning. Police say an elderly man drowned at a boat ramp. This happened in Hendersonville. 76-year-old Mervyn Johnson Jr. passed away on Wednesday. The TWRA says that their investigation is showing that Johnson was at the Saundersville boat ramp area when his boat drifted away from the dock. An eyewitness tells the TWRA that Johnson jumped into the water without a life jacket and tried to catch the boat. Hendersonville police are still investigating. Well, drowning is a tragedy very close to home. And this summer, as it continues to get closer and closer, it's an important time to address safety issues around bodies of water and even pools. As this report finds that drowning deaths are actually up across the country. Fox News' Sean Legel takes a closer look at the data and a unique program that's trying to save lives.
With the weather warming up, it's not going to be long until pools, ponds, and oceans are filled with swimmers looking to take a cool dip. But a new report from the CDC reveals drowning deaths are on the rise. From 2020 to 2022, more than 4,500 people drowned each year. That's 500 more per year compared to 2019. Groups who already face elevated risks experience the sharpest increases in drowning deaths. Those include kids ages 1 through 4, people of all races who are 65 and older, and black people of all ages. Before summer hits, reports said swimming lessons can save lives, especially when about 40 million adults do not know how to swim. Meanwhile, researchers at The Ohio State University are using a unique approach to prevent drowning among kids on the autism spectrum.
Drowning is the #1 cause of unintentional death for children on the autism spectrum, up through age 14.
Participants in the program are paired with a personalized swim buddy. The class is then led by an aquatic occupational therapist who covers swimming safety.
Our sessions are between 45 and 50 minutes long for 10 weeks. Everyone makes significant gains in either tolerating the water on their face, learning to hold their breath and go under, being able to tolerate different floating positions.
While not all of the kids learn to swim in the 10 weeks, researchers say the progress they do make helps give families peace of mind.
Decrease stress in taking their children out to community programs, community pools, vacations.
Sean Langell, Fox News.
4:46 is the time the federal government is beginning the process to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Now, the proposal from the Justice Department would not legalize marijuana for recreational use, but it would remove it from the category of a Scheduled I drug, a category that includes heroin and LSD. Now, the proposal also recognizes the use of medical use. It also includes and recognizes the medical uses of cannabis and acknowledges that it has less potential for abuse than some other types of drugs here in the country that are considered way more potent than that. The Drug Enforcement Administration will take public comments on the proposal for the next few months. What's happening tomorrow? The Tour de Nash. It's not quite as long as the Tour de France, but it's still a very big deal for Music City bike riders. Our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker live out there in the Nations along 51st Avenue with a look at the path. This is the 20th annual event, and it kicks off right there on 51st. All different lengths of bike routes can be run in this particular Tour de Nash. It's a 1 mile run for kids. It can be 45 miles for others. They will start to gather out there around 7:30. Then the bike ride begins at 7:45. Heads up, you're likely to see the people out there on bikes, not just in West Nashville either, all across the city as they run these routes. This raises money for Walk Bike Nashville. They are an organization that is trying to help people remain safer out there on bikes and on foot in neighborhoods across the city. The question is, will it be a good day for a bike ride? Thousands of people out there on bikes tomorrow. Greg, the fate is up to you, sir.
And I will do my best to make sure that if it does rain, we at least know what's going to happen and how to prepare for it. So that's what we'll do. We'll just kind of give you the tools you need, and then hopefully that ends up being an okay scenario, because we're going to work through some showers this morning, this afternoon, and then going into tomorrow as well. I do have Future Track pulled up right now for tomorrow morning, and what I'm seeing is the morning hours are looking fairly dry, which is really good. Right now, though, some steady light rainfall, 68 degrees. We're not seeing any severe weather today at any point. Visibility actually is pretty good if you're not stuck in the decent downpours we've got in our southwestern counties. And we'll keep tracking those for you here, but if you're in the Lawrenceburg area, Linden, moving into Hohenwald now, Centerville in the next 10 minutes, you had some decent rain coming down with no thunder or lightning. And the fog compared to the last 2 days, we're not seeing much of it. Here is Future Track for you. Let's work through today, and then we'll go through Tour de Nash for tomorrow. 4 a.m. taking us into the afternoon, and there will be some scattered rainfall for the morning. There will be pockets of it that do get heavy at times. That's why we're code red, watching out for any potential flooding. If we don't see flooding this morning, code red's done. This afternoon, we have no severe weather. Taking a look at the afternoon, 5 p.m., isolated hit and miss showers and weak thunderstorms are possible. So plan for rain if you have plans at any point this evening or overnight. Let's talk tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. We know, again, toward a morning into early afternoon. Here's 5 a.m. taking us into 6, 7, 8, and even all the way through 9, 10, and 11. Hit and miss shower, possible. Most of our rain, though, pivots well down to the south of Nashville itself. These will be some decent downpours, and you could get a clap or two of thunder or lightning. But once again, even the afternoon, 2 p.m. taking us through sunset. Not worried about severe weather in the forecast. So all things trending in a pretty good direction. 75 degrees later on this afternoon, and then low to mid 80s for the weekend. Right side of your screen, your current temps will be there even during commercial breaks all the way through 9.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-24 at Harding Place. This is over in Antioch. Traffic out there moving along really nicely. Don't even see any raindrops out there in Antioch overnight, so could be a little drier commute than maybe some of the ones that others of you will have. So, of course, we'll continue to watch Greg and that radar. But so far, no major problems out there on the roads. A nice start for your Friday. Well, looking ahead to tonight, the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. The family fostered 2 young boys and grew to love them. They understood the goal was to reunite the children with their birth parents, but say that both boys were better off in their care. The couple says that DCS abruptly removed the children. They are worried about the children's safety and are now fighting to regain custody.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was we didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that nobody's really cared enough.
Well, tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our Amanda Chen digs deeper into the couple's concerns and why some believe Tennessee's foster care system is in deep need of change. Well, coming up, travel predictions for Memorial Day. We're going to tell you why it could be one of the busiest Memorial Days ever. Thanks for waking up with us right here on Fox 17 News this morning. We're your only local news source with your traffic and weather updates from...
Whether it's a single tooth, dentures, or dental implants, we make new smiles affordable for everyone.
Go ahead and smile.
.455 is the time. Live look there over Metro Center. We are doing okay in the skies, at least right now. We've got some drizzle falling in certain locations, but the question is what's going to happen later today and into the weekend. Greg Bopus has got the details on that coming up in just a few minutes. Well, let's talk about travel out there, as summer travel is expected to be one of the busiest season on record, according to the Transportation Security Administration. Now, they are expecting huge crowds, as the agency expecting to see about a 10% growth over the course of this year. Last year, passenger travel increased by 13%. The TSA administrator says that air travel for Memorial Day is expected to surge over the first major weekend of this summer. He says they are also likely to see a record number of travelers across the country on some of the busiest summer days. In a position where plenty of Cameron Smith's competitors would have felt a little loss, the Australian golfer was right at home. It wasn't exactly the ideal situation for Smith, who was aiming for one. He's proven different.
I'll tell you, that just takes me back to my childhood. I used to buy the golf balls that would float, because I hit it in the water so often that, at least you see it sitting there.
Wow.
Taking a look here, not a great day for golf here. Most of Middle Tennessee going to see scattered rain showers throughout the morning. A few areas seeing some decent downpours that are out there. We have no thunder or lightning, and we have canceled any and all chances for severe weather for the rest of today. Sunset going to be at 7:48. Not a ton of it today. The peaks we get, enjoy. There will be a few isolated storms later on this afternoon, but our rainiest period is now through around 10 o'clock this morning. You're not cutting the grass today, tomorrow, or Sunday. Sunday, by the end of the day, if we dry out enough, potentially, but we're going to put down another inch or so of rainfall in the next 36 to 48 hours, and most of that actually is going to come down tomorrow, but it depends where you're at. Scattered storms for your Saturday, heavy rainfall at times, south of I-40 to begin the day, and then east of I-65 to end the day. That does not mean that, okay, Nashville is kind of that pivot point for both of those, that we see nothing, but those are the general areas of the better chance for a few storms. No severe weather for the weekend, and a little bit warmer. Today we'll be in the middle 70s, tomorrow right near 80, and then 84 degrees on your Sunday. How do you keep track of the rain when I'm not keeping track of it for you? You can get the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. You can download it right there by scanning that QR code. You can get it from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Just type in Code Red, and maybe you're waking up here with us early this morning, or you're going to be having some friends coming in later. Get the app. Make sure that you all can not have to cancel your plans for anything other than rainfall, but you don't get poured on. There's how you do it.
Still clear traffic out there on I-40 at Spence Lane, just east of downtown. You can see traffic moving along really nicely. There goes Metro. Metro Police across the top there of Spence Lane itself, unsure exactly where they're going or if it's related to even traffic at that. But of course, we're always watching things, as you witnessed there. We're always checking things out, seeing what's happening out there on the roads. We'll let you know if that police car is going into anything crucial or if anything else could tie up your traffic. Coming up in a few. Well, Planet Fitness is bringing back its free workout passes for teens this summer. The fitness chain says that its high school summer pass returns for its 4th year starting on June the 1st. It's for members with teenagers between the ages of 14 and 19. Now, team members will have access to the fitness trainers as well as free workouts and fitness plans on the Planet Fitness app. High schoolers under the age of 18 will still need the parental permission to sign up. The company says the program is meant to keep kids active during the summer months and will last all the way until August 31st. Well, McDonald's has a brand new shake that may remind you of Grandma's house. The fast food chain says that the brand new Grandma McFlurry is coming to locations nationwide. This has to be a joke, right? Like I'm being pranked, aren't I? No, we're really doing this. The new drink features syrup and pieces of crunchy candy. The special grandma, I'm sorry, Greg.
Werther's Original, maybe?
Okay.
You know, those candies are always in the pocket?
I know. The special Grandma's McFlurry ice cream truck will also make an appearance in New York City both today and tomorrow to give out free samples to the fans up there. But what about the rest of us? Come on. You can go to Times Square. You can't come to Broadway. All right, our 5 o'clock hour starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up on a Code Red weather alert, but this time around not for severe weather. That is gone from the forecast. We're tracking some decent rainfall this morning that could lead to flooding. We'll dive into that in moments.
We're also learning more about the victims of the deadly plane crash in Williamson County, what we now know about the family, and what's next for the ongoing investigation.
Police say one man was found dead lying in the street here in South Nashville. Coming up, I'll tell you what I've learned so far.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Friday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here live and local for you through 9 a.m. And we do start this Friday morning in a Code Red weather alert. Live look from downtown Nashville right now. Yes, the rain has already moved in. And it's the rain that we're concerned about now in this Code Red weather alert. You know, we first told you about it yesterday. There was some concern for some storms. That concern has now shifted for this Friday, with the main concern now being flooding, impacting water levels that have already been high because of the last week's worth of weather.
Yeah, let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning. Yeah, that is why the red lights are on. I will tell you right now, the rain going to be on and off throughout the morning hours. You'll get a shower, you'll get a break. You might even get a heavier downpour. A few of them have been developing here over the course of the last hour. There's no thunder or lightning for this morning, and really, we've only put down a few hundredths of an inch of rain in the last 6 hours. But we could get a good decent half of an inch of rain within a half-hour time period as these little bubble ups begin to fire off here this morning. If we don't see any flooding indications by 7 o'clock, we should be pretty good to go. The areas of concern are going to be the ones that are north of I-40, and we're not seeing a lot of rainfall there just yet. You can see, though, we do have some showers that are really quickly moving. This is an hour time lapse here, bringing it into the viewing area and then all the way past Hohenwald almost at this point, moving into Centerville as we speak, continuing toward the north and the east. If they hold together, we'll put a track on them for you coming up in about 5 minutes. But this is the big picture. It's not going to be a severe weather day, but it could still be an impact to your morning commute. We've got to talk about steady rainfall for a good chunk of this morning all the way through 9 a.m. Light to moderate rain. Areas of standing water, you're going to find them out there. We have been for the last week and a half. Use some caution heading out the door. Just know that rainfall will not lead to any causes for concern with severe weather. That's the big new thing that's very nice here for us this morning. No damaging wind, no hail. 75 degrees this afternoon. Right side of your screen, temps are in the 50s and 60s.
Greg, thank you so much. At 5:03, we do want to do a quick check of your steer clear traffic update. Maybe save you some time if you're heading out the door right now. Maybe you're heading to this area, Antioch, I-24 over at Haywood Lane. The good news is right now you're not going to find any kind of brake check, no collisions out there. This area is looking very good. We'll continue sharing all of your steer clear traffic updates though throughout 9 o'clock.
And right now we want to get into the breaking news that we first brought you in our 4 o'clock hour from the Chestnut Hill neighborhood of Nashville. This is a part of town that's kind of in between Fort Negley and where you would find Trevecca Nazarene, not far from the city cemetery. That's where police tell us this morning one man has died in a shooting.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live. She's been out there for about an hour or so getting the very latest update.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. The scene is now clear, but police say the call came in around 1 this morning, and a man was found dead lying here on the street behind me at the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street. Police were here for several hours combing through evidence, and in their preliminary investigation, a detective tells me that the man had a gunshot wound to his head and was anywhere from 25 to 30 years old. They tell me they haven't notified his family yet, so once they do, they will release his identity. The detective also tells me that it might be one or more suspects. It's still early in their investigation. The suspects are not in custody. Keep with us for updates as we try to find out more on the circumstances surrounding what happened. Reporting live here in Chestnut Hill, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, new this Friday morning, Metro Police say a man is now under arrest for shooting a teenager on the steps of the WeGo building right in downtown Nashville.
Have a lot of pictures of the scene here. Police tell Fox 17 News 31-year-old Kenneth Johnson, a convicted felon, shot the 18-year-old and then left him in critical condition. We understand that victim is stable but critical. Officers say the teenager had a gun and did fire back. They say what looked like cocaine and pot found at the scene as well. Police say Johnson, the convicted felon, will likely face more felony charges related to this shooting.
There are also new details this morning regarding Wednesday.
Our prayers and our thoughts go out to the family in this tragic loss. I have been in contact with that family, and I know this is very devastating to them.
There are new details now on Wednesday's deadly plane crash over in Williamson County. We are now learning about the family that was on board again when that crash happened. So as we keep on scrolling here, investigators say the pilot was Baton Rouge plastic surgeon Lucius Doucette III. They also say he and his children, twins Giselle and Jean-Luc, were killed on impact. The twins were set to graduate from Louisiana State University today.
Federal investigators right now are collecting more pieces of the Beechcraft V-35, some of which you can see on the back of that ATV right there, as investigators are pulling that debris from the crash site in Williamson County. This was in the southwestern part of the county. Investigators are going to try to figure out why the plane appeared to speed up and then started moving erratically about 10 minutes before the crash.
Right now, though, the investigators are also asking anyone who has cell phone video or maybe doorbell video to go ahead and share it. If that's you, maybe you do have that video, go ahead and go to fox17.com for the email address in order to contact them and share it with investigators.
Still to come on Fox 17 News this morning, severe weather in the south has left several people dead as of this morning, and flooding, storms, cracking skyscraper windows. More on that in minutes.
In Trump's hush money trial. 5:09 is the time, and right now, Fox 17 News, we are continuing our Code Red weather alert, showing you a live look over at Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. Now, Greg is letting us know that flooding is the big concern that we're worried about. The severe weather, that threat has gone down, so not going to be concerned with the hail or the threat of severe weather in that aspect, but flooding is what we're watching out for. We're also keeping a very close eye on showers this weekend. He's going to have your full forecast in a couple of minutes.
Let's talk about the weather, the wild weather sweeping parts of the south where at least 4 people have now died. Unsettling video coming to us from Houston. Let's watch and listen.
Wow, well, one building there is partially collapsed and some of the skyscrapers have shattered the windows. Well, utilities reporting that nearly 1 million homes and businesses at one point were without power in Texas. Now, this video is from yesterday.
Incredible stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about the weather here in a little while. Moving on, though, this morning, we do know that former President Trump has now wrapped up day 18 of his criminal hush money trial. Court is now adjourned for the week. In fact, everything that we saw and heard yesterday coming from the former president's defense team. They drilled Mr. Trump's former attorney and so-called fixer, Michael Cohen. He faced a whole lot of tough questions from the defense team. They're discrediting his testimony by pressing him on his own criminal history, which they say gives motive to throw the former president under the bus, and past lies that he has told under oath. Cohen is the prosecution's star witness. They're trying to have him tie Mr. Trump directly to the hush money scheme. They said to silence women who claimed they had affairs with him. Mr. Trump insists this whole thing is just an attempt to try to keep him out of the White House.
This is a witch hunt. This is a prosecution without a case. This is all political. This is done to damage a political opponent like a third world country would do.
By the way, looking ahead to next week, Mr. Trump's attorneys are going to continue questioning Cohen. That is set for Monday.
Coming up in your Cookeville forecast, showers on the radar right now. A few heavier downpours developing over the course of the last hour or so. We'll take a look at where they're at, where they're headed, and what it could mean for any potential flooding.
Hey, did you hear about the weather that's moving through as it is seen on our traffic cameras? Well, we've got it here for you. Wet roads, I-24, Briley Parkway. No crash right here, but it does seem like we got a little extra volume out there this morning. So we'll get another check in steer clear traffic here in just a minute.
We're also talking about soccer.
Working right.
Prevagen at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Watch Crisis in the Classroom only on Fox 17 News.
5:14 is the time. We do want to check in because we're continuing our code red weather alert. But Greg, you were saying earlier it's not for severe weather, more so flooding.
Yeah, and the potential for it. It's not happening yet. We're just watching the showers that are going to kind of develop here over the next couple of hours. And then if they do get strong enough, we could have spot flooding. So some isolated areas that already had the standing water or the raised river levels from what's happened over the course of the last 10 days. Right now, we are seeing a few of those decent showers getting a little more oomph to them. We've had one lightning strike here in the last 15 minutes. So yes, a weak rumble is possible. Even toward the afternoon, a few weak thunderstorms are going to be out there, but no severe weather. We have canceled all of that when it comes to wind, hail, tornado threats. None of that going to be in the cards for us today. Here's a track here. Centerville moving in right now. These showers have been trying to pull more toward the north and east, but they're kind of dying as they go so. And then we see a few more popping up on the back end of them. That's what this will be. So Hohenwald through Linden. This will, again, track through Centerville. If it holds together, Dickson in the next hour, and then we'll keep watching Nashville. We have been seeing some light rainfall across a good chunk of the viewing area, so don't get me wrong. Most of us are seeing those on and off pockets of light rain, but another area to watch, Murfreesboro all the way out through McMinnville. These pop-up little red and yellows giving us some decent, real quick flash downpours. Now, I'll tell you, if we don't have any flooding indications by 7 o'clock this morning, we'll likely put all the lights back to blue and say the rest of the day is going to be okay, because our only steady rainfall is going to be this morning. Everything is much more hit and miss this afternoon. Everything pulling from the bottom left-hand side of your screen to the top right-hand side of your screen. Weather story this morning, the best part of it is the first thing here. No severe weather. Will be a rainy morning, but hour by hour looking better in terms of getting away from code red and getting away from flooding. So coming up in the next check of the forecast, we will work you through your 7-day. We'll look at everything on Future Track, a lot of events this weekend, and we will have showers and storms for portions of Saturday and Sunday, but they're not across the board for everyone. So we'll give you that breakdown of who has that best chance.
Let's get to steer clear traffic, and it's going to take us to I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. That's where we've picked up a crash here in the last few moments. We are seeing what the authorities on the scene doing right now. They're trying to get that car out of there on that scene there. They've got a tow truck in place. They've shut down one lane here. This is the ramp as you get on to Old Hickory Boulevard, very close out there to the Target, to the Panera Bread, the Waffle House is all sitting out there on the corner. You know where I'm talking about. That's where the ramp is, and that is where the one lane closure is. Not causing big delays, just something to be aware of. We'll continue to watch other areas around town coming up here soon.
Justin, thank you very much. It is 5:17 right now and making headlines this morning. A bizarre story from East Tennessee. The remains of a missing man have now been found in a freezer that was buried in Carter County. The sheriff's office there says they found the body of Edward Elliott in a freezer Wednesday. Carter County is in East Tennessee. Elliott first reported missing in March. Now, the man you see here on the screen is the suspect in the case. This is Joey Gwynn, who faces several charges, including first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. He's being held on a $5 million bond.
We also have an update now to yesterday's breaking traffic news. We now know it was a wrong-way crash and one man died. It happened on I-65 North, right near the Vietnam Veterans Boulevard exit, shutting down the interstate. We told you this for hours. Well, crews say that Roger Rowland was driving south in the northbound lanes when he hit a semi head-on. Rowland died at the scene. The driver of the semi, though, is being treated for minor injuries.
Right now we have a man under arrest in Nashville after Metro Police say they found him driving a carjacked vehicle with drugs, a gun, and more.
Well, police say detectives right here that we're talking about here, they spotted a vehicle in this particular area, a Dodge Charger yesterday that was taken during a carjacking on Monday. They followed it then to a store over on Nolensville Pike, and that is where police say they arrested 22-year-old Kelvin Ramirez.
Police say they found a pistol, and by the way, you're seeing a picture of all this stuff on your screen here. A pistol, a ski mask, cocaine, about $2,000 in cash, all in that stolen car. Ramirez now facing a long list of charges.
Soccer news now. Breaking news on the pitch. Gary Smith is officially out at Nashville SC after its worst ever start in Major League Soccer.
The club making that announcement yesterday that it has now parted ways with the coach after 7 seasons with the team. I mean, I remember when we had him on our show when Nashville SC first debuted here in Nashville.
I can't believe it's been 7 seasons.
I know, it's wild. Smith, by the way, as I mentioned, was the club's first head coach in franchise history. He helped transition them to MLS play in 2020. Nashville became just the 4th MLS expansion team to make the playoffs in each one of their 4 seasons. So you might be wondering, well, why did they get rid of him if they've had such a great start? Well, this season has been a different story. Nashville has won just 5 of their last 27 matches. Ben Wright with Major League Soccer and Broadway Sports Media tries to explain it. Listen up.
I think maybe that is a little bit surprising that he just wasn't given more time to right the ship. But also, I think maybe some of the signs and the writing had been on the wall here for a while. So I think there's probably an argument to be made that Nashville thought it was time to just move on.
Well, the team's player development coach, Roomba Muthali, taking on the interim head coach role. Tomorrow, Nashville SC is going to face Atlanta United FC. That game is at the Castle, Geodis Park. It starts at 12:45 p.m.
Hey, happening tomorrow right here in Nashville, we have Tour de Nash. No, it's not like the Tour de France necessarily, but it is a big bike ride through Music City. And our Fox 17 photojournalist Madison Spraker joining us live in the Nations, which is where the 20th annual event will kick off at 51st Avenue and Illinois. And this is the location that we're looking at here. I know it's dark, but it's about to get packed this weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be packed in this area for sure with fans who are going to be cheering on their riders out there. And there are all different lengths for this biking route, from 1 mile to the 45-mile Grand Tour that travels all over Nashville. The riders are going to get started at 7:30 tomorrow in this particular area and really across different spots in Nashville. They'll start biking around 7:45. So just be mindful as you head out on Saturday. You're going to see a lot more bikers in this area.
Good idea. And if you're new to to town and you're thinking, well, where the heck is the Nations? This is west of downtown Nashville, just off I-40. And look, somebody on their bike right there.
They're getting ready.
Yeah, getting warmed up. Hey, at 5:21 right now, the Metro Transportation License Commission had a meeting for 6 hours talking with all the people who operate those entertainment vehicles downtown.
They're talking about
Memorial Day sale,
where you can save big during our Flex Steel Factory Authorized Sale.
plus 5 years free financing and free delivery.
The B.F. Myers Memorial Day Sale.
5:23 is the time. You've all seen the party buses in downtown Nashville. Now, to tourists, they can be a lot of fun. Some people travel here from around the world just to take part in some of these party attractions. However, to those who live here, they've made different comments about them. They say they are slowing things down. They're making lots of noise, and sometimes they include reckless behavior that is dangerous to everyone else. That's why the Metro Licensed Transportation Commission wants to come up with brand new rules about how many party buses there can be, where they can operate, and when they can operate. Now, the restrictions can mean less business for those people who are in charge of these vehicles that have this entertainment, and you're going to hear the frustration from at least one owner.
How many people have been injured? None. One person jumped off one bus because he was an idiot, and that was the first weekend that operator operated. That has nothing to do with the rest of us that have been operating safely for 7 years.
The intention is to be proactive, not reactive. The intention is to not allow it to happen versus to react to it happening.
We're all proactive. We make sure our guests are safe.
Back and forth like that went on for around 6 hours, okay? And from different business owners as well. We're going to hear some more of this grand debate about the future of entertainment in downtown coming up in a few.
5:25, taking a look here, and might see a lot of folks out and about this weekend here trying to enjoy Lower Broadway especially. So what are we getting ourselves into? We're in alert mode for code red, but I have dropped all severe weather potential. So you might think, Greg, why are we in code red? We have some decent downpours out there that, yes, this is a rain code red. The reason it is because of how much rain we've had the last week. There are some areas where we're still seeing water levels go down on our rivers, creeks, and streams, and those could give us some potential flooding in some spots later today. But as far as a severe weather outlook goes, there is no color on the map. Do not worry about anything. The rain and the thunderstorms we see today will not be severe at any point in time. Only thing we're looking for on the scale, nope, no tornadoes, no wind, no hail, just the possibility of flooding. And again, if we don't see anything popping up here in the next hour or two that gives us indications of flooding, it means things are good. That's what you want when you wake up on a Friday, is good news. Here we are through 11 o'clock. These hit and miss cells that will give us some decent downpours. We've had a rumble or two of thunder so far this morning, but relatively speaking, it's been light to moderate rainfall with pockets of heavy rain. We're going to keep tracking it for you. Just know that today will be on and off. In the afternoon, much more scarce when it comes to hours worth of rain. So many dry hours for the later stages of today. Waking up tomorrow morning, a few showers out there. Most of our rain for Saturday will be south of I-40 and then east of I-65 very late in the day. There'll be a few bubble ups and a few pop-up showers here and there. That's just the relative geography of most of our action for our Saturday.
Steer clear traffic gets us out the door at I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard over in the Brentwood area. They had a car that went over into the grass. Look how deep this vehicle ended up. This vehicle is way off the road into the grass here. Flatbed truck on the scene. I thought maybe it was a little closer to the road. I thought this would be out of here by now, but now I see how much work they're having to do to get this car off of the grass and back onto the road so they can tow it away. This is right at that ramp from Old Hickory Boulevard there in the Brentwood area, not too far away. As a matter of fact, I believe right on the other side of this tree line, you'll find things like the Target and the Panera Bread and the Waffle House. Very busy shopping center there in Brentwood, if you're familiar with that area. You don't have to steer clear, just know it's there as you get on the ramp this morning from OHB into Brentwood. Other than that, we're doing okay. This is I-40 near the airport. Seems to be moving along just fine. We'll continue to watch the roads for you.
Police say one man was found laying dead in the street in South Nashville. Coming up, I'll tell you what I've learned so far about the deadly shooting.
And trouble downtown as unlicensed taxi drivers are now targeting travelers and sometimes even
Red Station alerts, empowers, protects. Watch Crisis in the Classroom on Fox 17 News at 5:30.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up this morning here, 2 live looks, one at Nissan Stadium, bottom right-hand side of your screen, and then our affectionately called Batman building, the AT&T building there. On the top left-hand side, not much happening in Nashville, but there is going to be the chance for some showers and storms that could give us some flooding. We'll talk about that in your forecast.
All right, Greg, we'll see you then. Right now, a deadly shooting scene has just cleared in Nashville, but neighbors and investigators want to know what and how it all happened. We'll have a live update in minutes.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard in Brentwood. We've got a bit of a problem there on the entrance ramp. We're going to tell you the best ways to deal with this in just a few.
Plenty to get to, but first we do want to say thank you for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News this Friday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. Several developments in the weather department overnight, causing our concern in the code red weather alert to shift a little bit. Let's check in on the latest now with Greg.
Yeah, it's a good shift depending upon what you want to work through today. We have rain, but we don't have severe weather. We've taken that completely on it's not even in the cards today in any way, shape, or form. This is what we're dealing with, though. We do have some decent downpours that have developed. We're watching out for any spot flooding in a few areas across Middle Tennessee. That is why we're still in a code red level here, waking up this morning. But that's at least good that we don't have to worry about damaging wind or hail or tornadoes later on this afternoon. Here's the decent rainfall. I want to show you this, though. Our lightning indicator is turned on. We have no lightning with any of these showers here locally. This is right over the Centerville area, moving its way through Lobelville, also Linden. These little cells have kind of slowed down almost to a screeching halt in the last hour. That is why we're still code red. Could put down some decent rainfall, could give us some standing water in some spots. And we're moving our way towards Thompson Station, eventually Franklin, then Brentwood, Kingston Springs, and Dickson. We're still a good hour away from these making their way there if they do hold together. Taking a look, though, a couple other little pop-ups. This is how the morning is going to be. These were not here on the radar at all an hour ago. They'll continue to pop up just like this, moving away from Smyrna, moving their way toward Holloway here, and Holloway in the next 12 minutes, Lebanon in the next 22 minutes. Nashville, not much happening right now, though we did have some showers overnight, so wet pavement will be out there. We'll keep our eyes on all of these. Again, no lightning, no thunder. Just watch out for standing water this morning and make sure we're taking all the precautions to drive carefully as we're starting off our Friday, because some steady morning rainfall in many areas will be out there. Scattered afternoon storms. Flooding possible this morning. No severe weather for the afternoon. We'll look at it on Future Track and your 7-day forecast coming up in about 8 minutes from right now.
5:33, quick look at your steer clear traffic gets us out to I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. This is down the Brentwood area. We've got one car that went off the road into the grass area here. The flatbed truck on the scene to try to get it out, and now they've got it onto the pavement, so they should be able to load it up and move it on here pretty soon. No need to steer clear of this, just be aware about it. Again, at OHB, Old Hickory Boulevard, down the Brentwood area, right next, I believe, right on the other side of this tree line, you got the busy shopping complex there, the Target, the Panera Bread, the Waffle House, places like that is where this ramp is coming in from Brentwood. Overall drive times look like this. Hendersonville, nice at 26 minutes. Murfreesboro, 50 minutes. Kingston Springs at 25.
Justin, thank you. We are continuing to follow breaking news this Friday morning out of the Chestnut Hill neighborhood. That is where police say one man was killed in an overnight shooting.
Yeah, and sadly, when our crews got there, that man's body was lying in the street. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live now with the newest information.
Good morning. Police tell me that they haven't notified the family of the man who was shot to death yet, but our hearts...
All right, looks like we're having some microphone issues with Karen's shot there. We'll work to get that corrected and check back with her in just a few more minutes.
Right now, though, we do have continuing coverage as more and more people are coming forward with Fox 17 News, sharing their stories about problems with unlicensed taxi cabs.
We've had musicians even speak out, saying that they've been ripped off or even threatened by taxi drivers who don't even have a Metro license to be working here. And they tell Fox 17 News it's hard to tell which taxis are legit and which ones are bogus. McGrier is a local musician who performs at Broadway's popular bars like Tootsie's. Greer says he has friends who have been threatened and even slapped by some of these bogus drivers. He says he's personally been ripped off, and because drivers are not using a meter that they're legally required to use, it is difficult to dispute it and get the right fare.
They get scammed. They get in, they plug their phone in, and then they get told they can't go in. They go to grab their phone, and next thing you know, they're getting punched by the taxi driver.
punched by the taxi driver. Well, Fox 17 News, we reached out to the director of the Transportation Licensing Commission twice this week, trying to see if they're aware of this issue. As of right now, we have not heard back.
Now, we can tell you, though, a TLC board member tells us they have regulations and enforcement people who can respond to complaints, but people are saying more needs to be done to make it obvious on the outside of a taxi which ones are legit.
Coming up here, a man is drowned over at a mid-state boat ramp. The investigation into his death.
And
release the ball! The Quiz with Balls premieres Tuesday, May 28th on Fox.
Receive storm alerts. Download the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather app.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We will check back in right now with our news reporter, Karen Aguilar, who's joining us live in Nashville after she arrived to the Chestnut Hill neighborhood earlier this morning to find a man lying in the street. Investigators there show up. They're trying to piece together what in the world happened and what led up to this man's death. Karen?
Good morning. Police tell me that they haven't notified the family of the man who was shot in the head yet, but our hearts go out to his family who has to wake up to this awful news. Police say that the call came in around 1 this morning and they found one man lying on the street in the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street. A detective tells me that the man had a gunshot wound to his head and was anywhere from 25 to 30 years old. We are waiting to learn the identity of him. The detective tells me that it might be one or more suspects. It's still early in their investigation. The suspects are not in custody. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting live in Chestnut Hill, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. We were also continuing to follow up on wicked weather across the country. At least 4 people are dead in Houston after multiple rounds of powerful storms tore through Texas last night. Now this morning, crews are very busy clearing out debris. Some busy streets and sidewalks covered with shards of shattered glass from blown out skyscraper windows. Take a look at this video. The city's mayor says that wind reached speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. The intense gusts took down power lines and left hundreds of thousands of people in the dark.
Wow, and again, that's in Houston. Now, we're tracking a Code Red weather alert here at home, but we're not concerned about storms like that.
Nothing like that at all. The first map right here just shows you the Houston area. And as of about 25 minutes ago, there are still 350,000 customers, not people, customers that are without power this morning waking up. They had tornado warnings that went through downtown, and there are reports right now that wind speeds of straight line wind up to 100 miles per hour hit downtown Houston late yesterday. So we're seeing a lot of aftermath of this. We'll keep our eyes on it as the sun comes up over southern Texas here. Back home, yes, just some showers, no severe weather. Nothing to worry about when it comes to Code Red severe threats, but flooding could be a thing in some isolated spots. So the red lights are still on for right now. 68 degrees right now, fairly overcast. A few on and off showers have moved through Nashville. Most of our more decent downpours are south of I-40. For the time being. We'll see a few of them sneak to the north here throughout this morning into early afternoon. What I will tell you is any rainfall you get will be in and out within a half hour to 45 minutes, but you could put down a good half of an inch of rain throughout the morning hours, and that could give us some ponding and standing water. We'll keep monitoring as it gets closer and closer to Nashville in the coming hour or two.
Still clear traffic gets us out to I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. This is down in Brentwood. Traffic down there moving along much better after they cleared that overnight crash that was there at the entrance ramp at 65 at OHB. It's out of there. So now we're doing a lot better. All lanes of traffic are now open for you as you make that drive down. A nice start there in Brentwood. Same can be said for I-40 at Donaldson Pike, close to the airport. All the traffic right over here is getting off and they're going to the airport. The reason I know that is because that's the only place that exit goes. Exit 216A, which goes over to the Nashville International, which is set for another busy weekend. We'll continue to follow things and let you know what happens, but right now we're doing okay.
Justin, thank you. Coming up here on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, the Tour de Nash taking the streets tomorrow morning, where you can expect to see bike riders around the city.
And at 5:42 right now, a live look into downtown Nashville. A rainy start to your Friday. This is going to be a keep the sunshine in your pocket kind of a day. And that's all right. Sometimes you just got to make your own sunshine. And it's Friday, so glad you're with us. So we'll
free financing and free delivery.
The B.F. Myers Memorial Day sale.
5:45 is the time. We do want to let you know that happening tomorrow, the Tour de Nash, not quite as long as the Tour de France, but it's going to be taking over parts of Nashville. It's a really big deal for a lot of bike riders. Right now, though, our Fox 17 News photojournalist, Madden Spraker, is right there in the Nations. She is set up in the Nations over in West Nashville because this is one of the spots where bikers are going to be starting.
Yes, so heads up for you at 51st and Illinois. This is the intersection right here, 51st and Illinois. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a mess. You won't even be able to get through here. We'll have hundreds of people on their bikes doing everything from a 1-mile ride, that's the kids' route, to a 45-mile long grand tour that goes all through Nashville. So this is where they're going to start gathering at 7:30 tomorrow morning. If you have to be up and about in the Nations, make sure you get it done before 7:30 or maybe wait until like lunchtime. Okay, again, this is 51st and Illinois. You'll see, bicyclists throughout the city. So a quick reminder, too, to just give them some extra room. Please be safe and give them room to operate on the shoulders.
Right now, though, we are getting some more updates because police do say an elderly man drowned over at a boat ramp in Hendersonville. 76-year-old Mervyn Johnson Jr. passed away Wednesday. TWRA says their investigation is showing that Johnson was at the Saundersville boat launch area when his boat drifted away from the dock. An eyewitness telling also TWRA that Johnson jumped into the water without a life jacket and then tried to catch the boat. Hendersonville police, though, are still investigating.
Oh, that is just so sad. 5:46 right now, and yes, today cloudy and rainy, but we have all summer to go when it comes to some sunshine. And health experts are saying that people, yes, should be outside enjoying the great outdoors, but they're talking about how to do that safely.
It's all about the right, sunblock. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has the story.
May is Melanoma and Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and with the onset of warmer weather drawing more people outside for longer, dermatologists warn the increased sun exposure could raise your chances of developing skin cancer.
Melanoma is the third most common type of skin cancer in the United States, behind basal cell and squamous cell carcinoma.
Besides prolonged contact with ultraviolet light, some of the other risk factors can include
those who have had a number of childhood sunburns, blistering sunburns, or extended chronic sun exposure. In addition, those with moles and high density of moles.
While many doctors cite concerns, especially for patients with lighter complexions, skin cancer can impact everyone.
African Americans, Asians, and Hispanics do have a risk of melanoma. Their risk is much lower because they don't experience sunburns, but the issue becomes late diagnosis and late treatment.
Doing your own self-examinations can help you spot any changes to moles on your skin. You can use the ABCDE tip to help identify any potential issues.
A, asymmetry, so one half looks different than the other half. B, border. Is the border nice and regular, or is it notched and irregular? Color, and its variation of color. So D stands for diameter, greater than half a centimeter in size. And E is for evolution. That means change, whether it's change in size, color, shape.
Medical experts recommend applying water-resistant sunscreen to any exposed skin. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Gary, thank you. And by the way, dermatologists recommend applying sunscreen about 10 to 15 minutes before you head outside. And because sunscreens do have expiration dates, you may want to go ahead and check the back.
I mean, also, like Eric and I were talking during that story, because we have kids, right? Can we please get a sunscreen that works and doesn't have cancer-causing chemicals and doesn't make your skin break out?
Yeah, that was my question.
Especially for the babies. If y'all have good advice, seriously, we should put this on social media. If y'all have great advice for a safe sunscreen without cancer-causing chemicals that won't make your face break out,
you let us know.
You let us know.
All right.
Hit us up.
Then
we'll talk.
Then we'll talk. Let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. I know the big threat for today could be the possibility of flooding.
Yeah, possibility is the big word on that one there because we're not seeing anything just yet. We are seeing some decent rainfall, but if it doesn't hit the pockets of areas where we had the really heavy rainfall totals from last week, then we're going to be fine and we're going to be good to go. So what we're talking about now is no longer a severe weather threat. It is just going to be rainy for the course of the next 24 hours. And most of that steadier rainfall comes down between now and around 10 a.m. Then everything becomes much more sporadic. But even this is generally speaking hit and miss. I've got my lightning turned on here. My lightning indicator says 1 strike. Everywhere across the entire viewing area in the last 15 minutes. Most of this is moving. It's just chugging along really slowly. You saw the radar just jump there if you were watching. And it's about every 7 minutes it jumps, and it barely even moves. So that's why there could be a few areas in these reds, oranges, and yellows. We're talking Centerville moving toward Dickson right now. Not in Nashville yet. Some lighter rainfall through Murfreesboro. But these showers will continue to slowly chug their way toward the north and the east. You can see some of the areas that are going to be impacted here. We've got light to moderate rainfall in Smithville, but just to the west, some more decent downpours that are making their way through. Traffic impact, once it makes its way into Nashville, could give us some standing water. But for right now, we've only had a couple of light showers downtown overnight, put down very little rainfall, which is good news to start off here on a Friday. 75 degrees later on this afternoon, 80 for tomorrow. Steady rainfall with a few isolated thunderstorms that could be out there. We're not talking about severe weather at any point this weekend. We do have Tour de Nash tomorrow. We have the Mutt Strut. It's a 5K on Sunday. A lot of big events here. We'll start looking into those specific forecasts as we go into our 6 o'clock half hour.
Still clear traffic gets us to I-65 and I-24 north of town. Traffic there moving along really nicely, really is. No big problems over there in that direction. We have just picked up a crash over on Church Street. This is going to be I-40, very close to the Broadway exit there at the Church Street area. We're going to try to get a better view on this and give you an update coming up in just a few moments. Hang with us.
Justin, thank you very much. 5:51 is your time right now. Looking ahead to tonight and the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services.
We do understand that the family that we've talked to fostered 2 young boys and really grew to love them. They understood the goal is to reunite the children with their birth parents, but now they say both boys were better off in their care. The couple says DCS abruptly removed the children, and they're worried right now about the children's safety, and now they're fighting to regain custody. Listen.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was we didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that nobody's really cared enough.
So much emotion wrapped up in this story. Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our Amanda Chin digs into the couple's concerns and why some believe Tennessee's foster care system has got to change.
Extra time for some to get a financial boost by consolidating student loans. We're going to talk about the government's new deadline.
And the peaches are back, baby.
Yes.
The return of peach.
Use a famous made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit with sausage and egg, signature gravy, or country fried steak. And now, enjoy breakfast till noon every day. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Good morning and happy Friday to you. 5 minutes before 6 o'clock right now, a live look into downtown Nashville. Good morning to everybody who's visiting Nashville for the weekend. Maybe you're here for a conference, or if you've got local plans for the weekend, maybe your kids play sports, make sure you're with us because unfortunately, we've got some concerns with the weather every day going through Sunday. Greg is going to map all that out for you so you can make your plans accordingly.
Or maybe, Jen, you're here this weekend for the Peach Festival. Yeah, that's returning to Middle Tennessee. You can visit the Putnam County Fairgrounds tomorrow to enjoy fresh peaches, live music, and shopping.
All right, and if you're not familiar, Putnam County is out on the plateau, so this is east of Nashville, about an hour and a half or so. The festival runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is free. And they even have free parking. So whatever you might spend in gas to get there, it'll be worth it because it's free to get in and park. You'll find live music. They'll have a petting zoo for the kids. They'll do chopper rides and, of course, all things peach. Ooh. We have much more information on our website, fox17.com. I know. See, I'm wondering, have you bought any peaches yet for this season?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I love peaches, though.
I think we're going to have to make a cobbler and bring it in.
Ooh, I like the way you think. Hey, let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus, tracking our Code Red weather alerts.
And also,
oh, baby.
Look at Kiwi. Kiwi's 19 weeks old.
Okay, Kiwi? Can I guess, is Kiwi a miniature Australian Shepherd?
I'm told that it is that Kiwi is a cardigan corgi / blue heeler mix.
What? Cardigan corgi?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at
from
this.
Murfreesboro.
Baby.
That is a fantastic name.
It's like, I got my stick, so I'm happy. Taking a look here.
Can we have an in-studio visit?
Isn't that
Kiwi? Greg, can you ask Jamie and Matt Grice if they'll bring Kiwi to come visit?
And then just come and bring Kiwi every day.
I mean, we could do a station tour. We can show them around. Maybe that's something we integrate into Dog of the Day.
You're speaking my language. I mean,
can we do like a special, like
no.
every once in a while, Dog of the Day visit?
I mean, it could be an actual Dog of the Day.
A doggy field trip?
A literal Dog of the Day. I'm okay with that. Taking a look here. If you're getting a little Kiwi out there later today. Also, nothing is better when it comes to a corgi than the corgi butt. You know what I mean when they're walking around and you got that little swagger going. It's the dog walk here this morning, 60s all morning long. We're going to have pockets of rainfall, so keep that in mind. Wet paws for us here this morning. As far as the forecast goes, long term for the weekend, many dry hours and tons of events across the entire area. We'll look at those for you and time out some rainfall and get right back into tracking the radar coming up as we go into our 6 o'clock half hour.
558, taking a quick look at your steer clear traffic. Let's get you out to I-40. This is at Church Street over on the West Loop. We are taking a look at that crash. We can see T-Dot right there dealing with the aftermath of that. It looks like they could be blocking the on-ramp there onto I-40 there from the Church Street area. So heads up, you may not be able to get on. You would have to move forward, come across Broadway here, and then jump on at the very next area there if you can't get on there with that. So we will continue to try to find the crash, but I believe the crash is further down the ramp here, which is why the T-Dot is blocking it where they are. They're at I-40. Of course, this is the White Castle here. So those of you familiar with the downtown area knows the three main exits there, Charlotte, Church, Broadway. This is the Church exit there where we're seeing the problem.
All right, Justin, thank you. Let's talk about money. Student loan borrowers who have to consolidate some loans to get federal relief, well, they're getting a new deadline to go ahead and apply.
All right, let's take a look at the details here. We know a lot of you could fall into this bucket. The Education Department now says if you have loans from the privately held Federal Family Education Loan Program, you now have until June 30th to consolidate into the direct loan program. Those consolidations can help some borrowers get debt forgiveness. And so the Education Department says right now about 3.5 million student loans being held by private lenders are still out there. So just a heads up, though, that deadline for that one particular loan is now extended to June 30th.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up in a Code Red weather alert for some heavy rainfall in a few spots that could give us some spot flooding this morning. But I've got updates when it comes to possibilities of severe weather coming your way in a few moments.
Greg, thank you. We're also now learning more about the victims of the deadly plane crash in Williamson County from earlier this week. What we know about the family and the ongoing investigation.
Police say one man was found dead lying in the street in South Nashville. Coming up, I'll tell you what I've learned so far about this deadly shooting.
A very good Friday morning to you. Thanks for joining us for Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We do still have our red lights on. We are starting Fox 17 News this Friday morning in a Code Red weather alert, showing you a live look over there, the Cumberland River. And I know the big concern this morning is not going to be severe weather, but the possibility, Greg says, of flooding.
We have a live look now from the Cumberland River. Water levels have seen an impact here. We were showing you last week when we had we've got 10 tornadoes that have now been confirmed to touch down over the last week, and all the rain that came with those systems did bring the Cumberland up to, was it 37 feet, Greg?
Right around that mark, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what might be the main concern for some of our waterways through the morning?
What we got to watch out for right now is just look for the little areas that have the reds, the yellows. Those are the heavier downpours, and they're moving pretty slowly. So this is going to be a very situational thing throughout this morning, meaning if you don't have one of these small cells that are very slow movers, get right over, say, the Cumberland or areas where we had the flash flooding emergencies here through Robertson County and Sumner County about a week and a half ago, then we don't have anything to worry about. However, there will be a few showers that could give us some standing water in a few spots. Nothing really happening. We're kind of in a little pocket of dry air here over the Nashville area, and I'm not hearing of or seeing any indications of flooding just yet. That's all good news for us here to kick off this morning. Now, what we're going to do here in the next couple of hours, though, is watch these little cells that have developed. Right over Smithville now, out toward Watertown, get up toward Sparta, moving away from areas like Centertown, McMinnville, and Woodbury. So this is back to lighter rainfall. Most of what we get this morning will be the lighter greens, the steady, consistent, light no worries kind of rainfall, but these decent downpours could give us some areas of some standing water throughout the morning. So once it does get into Nashville, if we get any of these pockets moving into Nashville, that could give us some standing water, and it also could give us, you know, a little bit of a visibility issue to kick off the day, because you get the heavy rainfall very quickly moving in, not as easy to see. And again, if the windshield wipers are on, get those low beams on as well. 75 later on this afternoon, right side of your screen. We're starting off in the 60s. A little mugginess in the forecast. We'll talk about that in your pollen outlook in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-40 over on the West Loop, I-40 at Church Street. That is where TDOT continues to block the ramp to I-40 there. So if you were coming from the downtown area, say you were coming from the St. Thomas or Centennial Hospital and trying to get on to I-40, maybe you take Church Street down, you would make that turn right here and then jump on 40. You can't do that right now. TDOT has got the ramp blocked. So instead, you would need to continue on through Broadway here and jump on a little later. We believe the crash is probably down below the ramp here, where they continue to work that and try to clear that up. Not causing big delays, just something to be aware of as you try to get out and about there in downtown Nashville, which so many of you are. Here's I-40 at 46th Avenue over on West Nashville. We're doing just fine over there. Light rain starting to push into the area. That will change things.
Justin, thank you very much. At 6:04 right now, we continue to keep you updated on the breaking news this morning from the Chestnut Hill neighborhood of Nashville. This is, if you can imagine Fort Negley and maybe Trevecca University, that's a neighborhood that's in between those two locations. And that is where, sadly, we showed up this morning to reports from police of a man who had been shot dead and was lying in the street.
And that scene is now clear, but Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us live in the area trying to explain what happened and how police are investigating.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. Police say that the call came in around 1 this morning, and that's when they found the man lying on the street in the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street. Local authorities spent hours combing through evidence, and in their preliminary investigation, a detective tells me that the man had a gunshot wound to his head and was anywhere from 25 to 30 years old. They tell me they haven't notified his family yet, so once they do, they will release his identity. The detective also tells me that it might be one or more suspects. It's still early in their investigation. The suspects are not in custody at this time. We'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more on the circumstances surrounding what happened. Reporting live in South Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you very much. Also getting new details this morning and the breaking news from earlier this week, Wednesday's deadly plane crash in Williamson County.
Investigators say the pilot was Baton Rouge plastic surgeon Lucius Doucet III. They say he and his children, twins, Giselle and John Luke, were killed on impact.
How tragic. I was reading a report that they were on their way to their college graduation ceremonies. They were set to graduate from Louisiana State University today. Federal investigators say that Beechcraft V-35 was headed from Baton Rouge to Louisville, Kentucky. About 10 minutes before the crash, radar data showed that the plane sped up quickly and then the flight path became erratic.
Shortly thereafter, credible witnesses that we've already spoken with described the airplane as being an approximate level attitude with both wings folding backwards and the airplane going violently out of control.
What we do understand now from investigators that they're going to be using data from the plane's flight instruments to hopefully help piece together what went wrong in the sky. Meanwhile, investigators are also asking anyone who has cell phone video or maybe doorbell video from your home to go ahead and share it with them. If you do have that video, go to fox17.com. We have an email address. That way you can get it on over to them.
All right. And at 6:06 right now, the Metro Nashville Transportation License Commission met for 6 hours yesterday. You might be wondering, well, who cares? Why does that matter to me? Well, this 6-hour-long meeting is going to impact the future of all these entertainment vehicles in downtown Nashville.
Duster to make that short drive to Lebanon, and remember, we'll pay for anything it don't eat.
Get severe weather alerts. Download the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather app.
6:09 is the time. You've all seen the party buses in downtown Nashville. The tourists believe they are a lot of fun. They get on board, they hoop, they holler, they drink. Well, some people here find them to be a hazard. They say they slow down traffic, they make too much noise, and sometimes people on board, they're involved in some really reckless behavior. That's why the Licensed Transportation Commission for the city of Nashville wants to put more rules on their party buses about how many there can be on the road. Right now, there's permits for 91 of them, when they can operate and where they can operate. Now, business owners say the unruly behavior that we see is not really their problem and they're getting a bad rap.
I've never called 911. I've never had a fight on my vehicle. I've never had a single issue on my vehicle, with the exception of some people that maybe drank too much before they got on my vehicle that I had to ask to be let off prior to their tour being over. And I'm sure every one of us have experienced that. I have watched 2 o'clock in the afternoon grandmas fall down drunk on the sidewalk. That's a Nashville problem. That's not an ET problem.
Well, there's more vehicles who want to join the party downtown. They're pedicabs. You may have seen them in larger cities like New York or Chicago, and they want to get more of them on the road. The pedicab community is claiming they can really help people who are too drunk to do anything else. We're going to let you hear from them coming up in a few. There is some wicked weather that has moved its way across Houston, Texas, as multiple rounds of powerful storm have created some serious flooding down there in Harris County, Texas. Places like Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi are drenched as this system stretches across from state to state all the way to the east. Some people say that the storms are some of the worst they've seen in years, and they have turned deadly. 4 people have died there in Houston, and even a partial building collapse took place as well. Some of the skyscrapers have shattered windows. Utilities say there's nearly 1 million homes and businesses that were without power yesterday as that storm moved through. With a floating pier for Gaza now complete, the Pentagon says that aid will start entering the enclave there in the coming days. Now, the temporary causeway will kick off with a few trucks filled with food and supplies before ramping up to an anticipated 150 trucks a day. There will be no U.S. troops on the ground there in Gaza throughout this operation. Instead, it will be left up to the United Nations to distribute the supplies. When asked about the previous Israeli strikes on aid convoys, a Pentagon spokesperson says that the United States will be in direct communications with the IDF to ensure the safety of workers. No food has entered the 2 main border crossings in southern Gaza for more than a week.
Coming up in the code red forecast, some scattered showers and even a few decent downpours out there for right now. We're in a code red weather alert for the heavy rainfall and what it could mean to some spot flooding. We'll track it.
I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is coming in from Antioch. We're doing okay. We're going to take a check of your latest drive times coming up in a few. Plus, Nashville SC will be looking for a brand new head coach after they
is the People's Court.
Today at 2 on Fox 17.
His Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 6:14, and we want to show you some of the wild weather that has pummeled Texas overnight. We have close to 1 million people in Houston who lost power as the strong winds and the heavy rain pummeled the city. Look at this view from a skyscraper there. Somebody's shooting the video from their window. And sadly, we've learned this morning 4 people have died in the Houston area as a result of these storms. There are buildings in downtown Houston that have partially collapsed. The city's mayor says some of the wind speeds were up to 100 miles per hour.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to check in now with our code red meteorologist, Greg Bovis, because we're in a code red alert. Are we going to see some severe weather like that?
No, no severe weather at all. We're just in a code red for rain. And what they're seeing in Houston, we're going to get more images here this morning, I'm sure, as they continue to kind of survey what happened.
Sure.
There were tornado warnings that went through the area, but as far as the warnings go, no indications of an actual tornado. But 100 mile per hour wind speed is almost like having an EF1 go right through Houston itself. Here's a map of Texas and the area in the red that is surrounding Houston. And you can see here, yeah, the red not good. Look at the scale. They have 330,000 customers in the area without power. That's not people. That is buildings. That is individual customers who are hooked up to the power grid without power this morning. And this is a really interesting situation we have to keep watching here for the rest of today. Thankfully, the rain has ended. So at least for the rest of today, they should have a little bit of a break and just kind of see what's going on and where they stand here for this morning. Back home, we've got the rain going on here. Centerville up through Dickson, some decent downpours. You always know the heavier rainfall by the hotter colors on the radar. Let's zoom in. Take a look. Nashville, not much happening just yet. We're not too far away, though, from the rain moving back in. We had a few showers overnight. Going toward the north and the east. Leapers Fork in about 10 minutes. Franklin, if this holds together, which it likely will, in about a half hour. So you got a little light rain right now, but the more decent bands of rain are what I'm tracking, the reds and the oranges, where it gets a little heavier for a good half hour to an hour. We're putting down about a ½ inch of rain per hour, but these showers sit over one specific location. That's where we're worried about potential spot flooding. Smyrna, you're working right back into it in 23 minutes. Still, again, not much happening in Nashville. We'll keep our eyes glued to the radar for you all throughout this morning. We're only code red for a flooding potential. 75 degrees later on this afternoon.
Steer clear traffic is 617. Quick look outside gives us to I-40 at Donaldson Pike. This is over there close to the airport. Starting to see a bit of a trail of traffic there, starting to make its way towards 216A, which is that exit there for Nashville International Airport. Not a big slowdown, not a big problem, just people taking their time. Please understand, and I've had to learn this myself, a lot of people who are getting off at this exit, they've rented cars, they don't know where they're going. They don't know. People who live here. If you haven't been to the airport lately, you don't know where you're going either. It's a whole new universe over there. So give yourself extra time as you get out and about. Other than that, we're good to go. Drive times all in the green as you make your way out and about across mid-state Tennessee.
Well, making headlines this Friday morning, the remains of a missing man were found in a freezer that was buried over in Tennessee.
What a bizarre story here. We go to Carter County, which is in East Tennessee. You can see it on the map right here. The man you see on your screen is the man who's been identified as the suspect, but we also want to tell you about the victim. The body that was buried in a freezer is that of Edward Elliott. And again, this happening in East Tennessee. Carter County deputies say that Elliott had been reported missing back in March and hadn't been seen since. The man on your screen is Joey Gwynn. He's facing charges including first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. His bond right now, listen to this. His bond is set at $5 million. With all the talk lately here in our state about low or no bond problems that have led to sometimes repeat offenders back out on the streets. This is a case where it's clear in Carter County, they do not want this man to be able to get out. $5 million bond.
We also have an update to yesterday's breaking news when it comes to traffic, because we now know one man who was killed in the crash, which happened on I-65 North near the Vietnam Veterans Boulevard exit. It's the accident that shut down the interstate for hours. Well, now we're learning the name. Authorities say that Roger Rowland was driving south in the northbound lanes when he hit a semi head on. He then died at the scene. The driver of the semi is being treated for minor injuries and the investigation is still going on.
Breaking news this morning from the pitch. Gary Smith officially out at Nashville SC. This is the worst ever start that Nashville SC has had in Major League Soccer, and the club announced yesterday, they're parting ways with Coach Smith after 7 seasons on the team.
And Smith was the club's first head coach in franchise history. He really helped transition the team to play in the MLS. Nashville became the 4th MLS expansion team to make the playoffs in each of its 4 seasons. But this season, that's been a different story.
Yeah, Nashville has only won 5 of their 27 MLS matchups. Ben Wright with MLS and Broadway Sports Media explains.
I think maybe that is a little bit surprising that he just wasn't given more time to right the ship. But also, I think maybe some of the signs and the writing had been on the wall here for a while. So I think there's probably an argument to be made that Nashville thought it was time to just move on.
The team's player development coach, Rumble Mathali, is taking on the interim head coach role. We also know that tomorrow, Nashville SC at the Castle is going to face Atlanta United FC. That game is at 12:45 at Geodis Park.
Hey, looking ahead to the weekend, there's always stuff happening around Nashville, and happening tomorrow is the Tour de Nash. It's the Nashville version of the Tour de France, you could say. And so we're going to have a lot of bike riders out and about in Music City. Our Fox 17 photojournalist Madison Spraker is live this morning in the Nations. This is a neighborhood west of Nashville, and this is where they're going to kick everything off tomorrow morning at 51st and Illinois. We've got a kids route that'll be just a mile, and then we've got the Grand tour that's 45 miles long all around Nashville. Kicking off at 7:30 tomorrow morning. I would say if you live in the Nations or you need to be in the Nations tomorrow morning, I would either get your business done really early, like well before 7:30, or maybe wait until, what would you say, about lunchtime for everything to clear out?
Yeah, definitely. That kids mile that's going to be starting, that's going to start at 11 a.m. So do just be mindful out there. And it's not just going to be in the Nations. It's really going to be set up across different communities and parks around the city.
All right, so 51st in Illinois is where it's all going to kick off. Good luck to everybody. And if you're here in Nashville for the race, welcome to Nashville. Hope you have a great weekend.
Okay, talking about sports, what about the Titans? The schedule is out now, so we're taking a closer look at how difficult that schedule could be for the team.
Preakness Stakes happening tomorrow. We'll tell you when the second jewel of the Triple Crown will begin. Live look into downtown Nashville. Hey there, and welcome to Broadway. It's a rainy start in Nashville. Absolutely.
Call or visit allstate.com for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
Good morning and welcome into Fox 17 News this morning. We were just telling you about the Tour de Nash. Going to be a rainy weekend for any of your outdoor activities. Let's take a look at the school day forecast. First bell, 67 degrees, probably cloudy and rainy. And then look at after school. We do have the chance for some storms this afternoon. Now, that's not why we're in a code red weather alert. We're more concerned about the flooding that might happen as a result of these storms, just because we've already had so much rain over the last week. So for sure, grab the umbrella or the rain jacket, maybe even the cute little rain boots before you head out the door here on your Friday morning.
Steer clear traffic at 624. A quick look here at I-65 at the Fern Avenue overpass there on the north side. People driving with their headlights on because the rain is starting to fall here in Middle Tennessee, and that could cause problems out there on the road. Now, we haven't seen any big ones as of yet, but we know things can change and change quickly. We got you covered, though, with Steer Clear Traffic live and local with you through 9.
Let's talk sports. Titans officially releasing their new schedule earlier this week. And now that we've had to, the time to kind of circle some of the big games on the calendar, let's take a look at how our Titans schedule stacks up against the rest of the league.
Okay, so Sharp Football Analysis took a look at the schedule for all 32 teams, ranked off of just how tough their schedule could be this season. The numbers are based off of several things, including projected win totals from Las Vegas odd makers. And according to this, the Titans have the 6th toughest schedule in the league. Now, a lot of that has to do with their non-conference division or non-divisional matchups here. They're going to play teams like the Lions as well as the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. A lot of those teams are over in the AFC East. A lot of them are expected to do well this season. You see, the Steelers, number 1 on their particular list. The Steelers are going to play their first division game, Jen, November 17th. That's late in the season to have division game number 1.
That's very late.
So,
also, I'm curious, do they take into consideration when they do rankings like this, Justin, because you're our football expert, do they take into consideration what the team makeup is like? I'm looking at teams that might be starting fresh with like new quarterbacks or a new offensive line or something.
That's where the win total comes into play. All that is taken into consideration when they come up with the win total. For the Titans, I've seen their over-under win total is about 6.5. That's what Vegas thinks they're going to do this year.
All right, interesting. Hey, we want to hear from you. Do you think the Titans are going to have a rough go of it with the schedule this season? Taking a look at our Fox Nashville Twitter poll that is live this morning. Well, you guys are split right down the middle, 50-50 yes and no. It's early. We've had just a few votes already, but we've got it up and live for you. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to vote and then even leave us a comment.
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow when the Preakness Stakes will be taking their annual run in Baltimore. Now, that particular horse race is the second jewel in the Triple Crown with the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont.
Yeah, so Derby winner Mystic Dan will be on the track along with 7 other horses. Post time 6:01 p.m. tomorrow, our time.
Shifting gears now to a deadly shooting scene in South Nashville that has just cleared up a short time ago. We're going to tell you what neighbors and investigators want to know and how it all happened.
Trouble downtown as unlicensed taxi drivers are.
We've been breathing this. Lots of people don't realize that mold feeds off moisture in their crawl space. But don't worry,
We got this.
At AFS, we'll do a home inspection for free.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up here fairly overcast downtown. Not a lot of rain happening right now in Nashville, but some areas of some heavy downpours. We're code red for possible flooding here this morning in your forecast.
Also ahead on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, a man found lying dead in the street after a shooting in Nashville. What detectives have uncovered so far.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-24 Waldron Road. We've got your latest drive times from around the Mid-State.
And we are your live local news source through 9 a.m. Glad to be here for you to kick off your Friday. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We are continuing our Code Red weather alert. The big concern today, Greg says, is going to be the potential of flooding.
Yeah, and the good news is I'm not seeing any of that yet. Now, we do have a fairly rainy pattern that's settled in here for many of us. Some clusters of showers are watching. Here's the Nashville area. A little light rainfall kind of surrounding downtown, but nothing that we have to worry about just yet. And this really is a precautionary code red. If we get one or two of these decent cells that have settled in, the reds and the yellows, that do get right over some of the areas we've had standing water over the course of the last week, we could see some rising water levels again. So we've got our eyes on it, not getting any indications yet, and we hope we keep it that way. Clarksville, you got light rain right now. These steadier, heavier rain moves in about, I'd say, the next half hour. So you got a little time here while it just stays a little more on the settled side here with just that lighter, light green rainfall. Taking a look, Leapers Fork out through Thompson Station and then Franklin. Within the next half hour, we'll continue to watch rain moving in. These little pop-up, decent downpours. They're quick firing. You get a good 15-minute, 20-minute downpour, lighter rain, downpour. That's what this morning is going to be for us. Haven't seen much lightning, haven't seen much thunder. Shelbyville down toward Tullahoma, lighter to moderate rainfall as well. I really do believe if we can make it toward 9 o'clock and have no indicators of any flooding, that red box on the left side of your screen is going to go away. We're going to say goodbye. We have no severe weather in the forecast. However, a few thunderstorms are possible today and tomorrow. It just really depends where you're at. So we'll figure out who has the best chance to work into that in the next check of your forecast.
Let's get to your steer clear traffic this morning at I-24 Waldron Road. As you make that drive into town there, you can see through Rutherford County, we're doing okay. Good morning, Laverne, Smyrna, making that drive in, we're doing okay. Overall drive times also looking very tame, despite the fact the rain is pushing in and the streets are starting to get wet. 26 minutes in from Mount Juliet right now, 54 minutes in from Murfreesboro, 28 minutes in from Kingston Springs. We got you covered out on the roads live through 9.
A breaking news update now from Nashville, where police have cleared the scene of a deadly shooting.
Yeah, this is where police showed up to the Chestnut Hill neighborhood. Neighbors and police say they found a man lying in the street early this morning and he had been shot.
Fox 17 News' Kieran Aguilar has the very latest.
Police tell me they haven't notified the family of the man who was shot to death yet, but our hearts go out to his family who has to wake up to this awful news. Police say that the call came in around 1 this morning, and they found the man dead, lying on the street in the intersection of Lewis and Hart Street. Local authorities spent hours combing through evidence, and in their preliminary investigation, a detective tells me that the man had a gunshot wound to his head and was anywhere from 25 to 30 years old. We are waiting to learn the identity of him. The detective tells me that it might be one or more suspects. It's still early in their investigation. At this time, the suspects are not in custody. We'll continue to get you updated as we learn more on the circumstances surrounding what happened. Reporting in South Nashville, Kieran Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kieran, thank you. Continuing coverage now as more and more folks are coming forward with stories about problems with unlicensed taxi cabs. In fact, several musicians say they have been ripped off and even threatened by taxi drivers who do not have a Metro license to work here.
We've had people tell us it's like the Wild West out there in downtown Nashville, and that's certainly not what tourism leaders want to hear, or police, or anybody trying to visit Nashville. A lot of folks have said it's almost impossible to tell which taxis are licensed and which ones are not. Mac Greer is a local musician. He performs at bars like Tootsie's down on Lower Broadway. He says he has friends who have been threatened and even slapped. Physical altercations involving some of these bogus drivers. He says he's been ripped off himself. Drivers are not using a meter that they're legally required to use and don't hold a license with an active cab company.
They get scammed. They get in, they plug their phone in, and then they get told they can't go in. They go to grab their phone, and next thing you know, they're getting punched by the taxi driver.
Fox 17 News reached out to the director of the Transportation Licensing Commission twice this week to see if they are aware of the issue, and as of right now, we have not heard back.
Now, the Transportation Licensing Commission is also known as TLC, and a board member with TLC tells us they do have regulations and enforcement people who can respond to complaints, but a lot of folks have said more needs to be done to make it obvious on the outside of a taxi which ones are legit.
Just ahead here, we understand a man is drowned at a mid-state boat ramp, the investigation into his death.
And on Fox 17 News this morning, coming up at our 7 o'clock hour, a wrong turn nearly.
Kellum Stem Cell Institute. It might be the call that changes your life.
Cartels and the border.
Monday on Fox 17 News at 9.
Fox 17 News, we are following breaking news in the golf world. #1 golfer Scottie Scheffler detained by Louisville police this Friday morning before the second round of the PGA Championship. A lot going on here. The start of the second round, though, is now delayed. ESPN says a spokesperson from the Louisville Police Department told them a shuttle bus hit and killed a pedestrian right outside of the Valhalla Golf Club. Again, this is in Louisville. An ESPN reporter says Scheffler tried to drive past the scene, and that's when he was stopped by police and placed in handcuffs. PGA officials say tee times for the second round are going to be announced, well, in a couple of minutes here, 7 o'clock. But now they say the second round is not going to start until at least 8 a.m. More updates to come.
Okay, for sure. Thank you, Erica. Well, fast-moving thunderstorms pummeled southeastern Texas last night for a second time.
Oh, wow.
This month, it killed at least 4 people, blowing out some of the high-rise windows and taking down large trees like this one.
Yeah, you know what? This is brand new video. Earlier this morning, we did have video from those high-rises. This is just in, so this is brand new views as the sun has come up this morning.
It's a big tree.
That is unbelievable. Justin was just mentioning 4 people confirmed dead in these Houston storms from last night. This is in one of the suburbs. The mayor has gone on record as saying they had wind speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. And, you know, Greg told us earlier this hour, Greg said, listen, when the sun comes up, we're going to get a better view of some of this damage. And so here it is. Wow.
My goodness, those are really large trees that came down there in Houston. I know they've had loss of life, but Greg, the question is what's happening for us in our weekend here?
I know, you see images like that and then you see code red come up and you have the red lights on, you figure what's going on. No severe weather. This really will just be for the possibility of some spot flooding this morning. If we don't get it through 9 o'clock, then we're fine. The rest of the day will bring its chances for showers and storms, but we're not worried about anything aggressive. Here's tomorrow, the big event we've been talking about, showing you live images of where it's going to start. One of the big cycle events here across Nashville. Tour de Nash tomorrow. 7 a.m., 63 degrees downtown, 72 degrees at 11, and 76 degrees at 2 p.m. Temps are okay. It will be muggy, and there'll be a few isolated showers and weak thunderstorms that do pop up on the radar during this time frame. It will not be raining the entire time, and there's a really good bet we could sneak away during that time frame and not see any rain in Nashville itself. So plan for rain and also at least wet pavement. We're going to have a lot of that from today's rain that does move in and track through the area. You can see it right here on Future Track. 7 o'clock goes through 11. Hit and miss, showers and decent thunderstorms are going to be out there, but no severe weather. And again, the steadiest rainfall will really be these first few hours of this morning. The afternoon becomes much more of the pop-up hit and miss variety. No additional flooding at that point and no severe weather. Very good news for us here. Curious question this morning. What is the oldest Major League Baseball park? Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, Camden Yards, or Oriole Park at Camden Yards, or Dodger Stadium? Taking a look here coming up in a few minutes. I'll give you your answer.
I think Justin knows it, right? I mean, I bet you know it, don't you?
Yeah, I can name them in order, actually. Not just the orders, but
I had a feeling.
Let's take a look at steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. I know the traffic, too, and this one's slow. It's a slow drive. I can even tell you why, but I'd rather not. It's too deep.
Complicated.
Just know that this is the typical drive coming in. We're also starting to see that rainfall as well coming in from the Antioch area. You can see it there right in front of the camera lens. So let's take a look at the overall drive times here. Still under an hour for Murfreesboro. That's not going to last much longer. 56 minutes on that drive, 26 minutes from Hendersonville, 28 from Franklin.
Yeah, watch out for hydroplaning out there. Yeah. Hey, 6:42 this morning, police now confirm an elderly man has drowned at a boat ramp in Hendersonville, and the details of what happened to him, just so sad. I know, 76-year-old Mervyn Johnson Jr. passed away Wednesday. The TWRA says their investigation shows that Mr. Johnson was at the Saundersville boat launch area, very popular spot to go launch your boat, and apparently his boat drifted away from the dock.
Eyewitnesses tell the TWRA that Mr. Johnson jumped in the water without a life jacket in an effort to catch his boat.
So sad.
That's when he died. Police continue to investigate.
Praying for his family. Right now, still to come on Fox 17 News this morning, we've got a man on supervised release after 2 bank robbery convictions and now charged with doing it again. We dive into this new issue of repeat offense. Welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning, 6:45 right now. Happy Friday to you. I know it's dreary out there today. We do have rain and a code red weather alert for the concern of flooding. So this is your reminder to just put the sunshine in your pocket, carry it with you today. Just be a bright spot wherever you go.
Have a big smile.
Be a light.
Make it work.
Yeah. Share a little kindness. We'll get through it together and what could be a real rainy weekend. So hang on tight. We'll check in with Greg here in just a few more minutes.
Now to Operation Crime and Justice. A Nashville man on supervised release after 2 bank robbery convictions, now indicted for another bank robbery.
You know, this goes back to our investigations here at Fox 17 News about low or no bond for certain offenders. 44-year-old Jeremy Stacy Godwin faces 1 count of bank robbery. Investigators say Godwin went into a Truist Bank on Nolensville Pike in Nashville, threatening to use a gun and demanding money. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in federal prison.
In entertainment news, the country music world was playing and stars were celebrating at the 59th Academy of Country Music Awards. Now country music's Party of the Year streamed live and lots of folks getting involved.
Yeah, here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a recap.
What's going on, Texas? The 59th Academy of Country Music Awards started with a performance by the night's big winner, Lainey Wilson.
These past few years for us has just been a complete whirlwind.
The superstar won Entertainer of the Year, Female Artist of the Year a 2nd time in a row, and music event with Jelly Roll for Save Me. The night's star-packed lineup included Chris Stapleton and Dua Lipa in a surprise duet.
What an honor, thank you.
Stapleton added Male Artist of the Year to his trophy collection.
Old Dominion.
Old Dominion dominated in the Group of the Year category again, earning that trophy a 7th time in a row.
I love you so much, brother. I am so proud to be back up on this stage with you.
Dan and Shay were awarded Duo of the Year. Among other performers, Nate Smith shared the stage with Avril Lavigne, Blake Shelton with Gwen Stefani, and Kelsey Ballerini with Noah Kahan.
Georgia.
Kane Brown sang his cover of Ray Charles' classic, Georgia on My Mind. Jelly Roll, Cody Johnson, Miranda Lambert, Post Malone, Parker McCallum, and Thomas Rhett took the stage.
Should have been a cowboy.
Jason Aldean performed a tribute to late country legend Toby Keith with a rendition of Should Have Been a Cowboy. 16-time ACM Award winner Reba McEntire hosted the show and played new music. She then wrapped things up by announcing she'll be back again to host next year. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
So much we could say about all that. We love Reba.
Don't mind me.
Jelly Roll looks amazing.
Yes,
How much did you say? How much weight has he lost
already?
already?
More than 200 pounds already, and now he's training for a half marathon.
Incredible.
Impressive.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And so much of that right here in Nashville. Okay, let's talk the forecast and the weather and all the impacts to our outdoor plans this weekend.
Yeah, we'll piece together Future Track because it kind of really depends where you live each day, what you're going to get into.
Okay.
And we're only code red for heavy rainfall right now. We have got no flooding yet, but there could be a few areas that we have some spot flooding. But I'm not concerned. As of right now, we're looking good. Your curious question I asked you, baseball related. I mean, we're that time of the year now. What is the oldest Major League Baseball park? Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, Oriole Stadium. Well, it's at Camden Yards, the old school name, or Dodger Stadium.
So, are mics open? I can't tell. Oh, there we go. Okay,
go.
mics are up now. All right, because I was saying earlier, I feel like we should ask Justin to weigh in because he's such a sports nut. So my first thought on this was, I was like, okay, the oldest ballpark, what's the oldest city on the list? Okay, so that's kind of where my mind went. I'm going to guess Fenway.
Okay.
Erica, what do you think?
See?
See? Okay, going Camden Yards.
Okay.
So Baltimore.
All right, now Justin?
Well,
come on, Justin, Mike.
Fine.
There we go.
The answer is A. It's Fenway Park is the oldest.
Boston, right?
Just by a little bit. By 2 years. Wrigley Field's the second oldest, opening up in 1914. Camden Yards is actually the youngest, Erica.
See, we knew.
Opening up in the 1990s. And Dodger Stadium is opened up in the 50s to lure away the Dodgers from Brooklyn to Los Angeles.
I knew it. See, Justin said earlier, he said, not only do I know which one is the oldest, but I can name them in order, and he did.
Yep, nailed it.
So there we go.
Even the years he got on them.
I know.
Too.
Well, that's just not even fair.
Just 2 years.
No, that was catered for Justin today. That was just for you.
Perfect.
He nailed it.
Stuck the landing on that one. Taking a look here. Out the door this morning, grab an umbrella. We have some showers that are on and off. We are only code red for heavier pockets of some rainfall that are out there. So know that. Windshield wipers, if you're using them, have the headlights on too. Put us all in a good spot this morning. 7 a.m. goes to 8 and 9. We'll keep it right near the same temperature. We're in the 60s. We're going to see on and off showers and thunderstorms throughout this morning, and they become much more hit and miss for the afternoon. So many dry hours starting after lunchtime. If we do not have any indications of flooding by 9 a.m., we're going to get rid of that red box and just say plan for on and off storms. As far as weekend events go, the morning hours of tomorrow and Sunday are trending drier and drier with every forecast outlook I see. So we'll see what that means for some plans coming up in a few.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Lots of pea to marble-sized hail fell on Snyder, Texas during a lunchtime hailstorm Thursday. Nearly 400 miles to the southwest. The El Paso area also got some storms and rain after a long time. Rainfall this week had these waters raging in Rhode Island, and in the same town, no one got to enjoy this park bench Thursday due to flooding. More than 6 inches of rain fell in South Kingstown.
651, checking in with your steer clear traffic. Let's tell you what's going on out there. I-24 at Haywood Lane on that drive coming in from the Antioch area. As you can see, traffic starting to slow down and move a little slower because of the congestion and the wet roads out there. But so far, no major crashes on the roads, despite the fact that we see some of that wet weather. Here's Vietnam Vets at Gallatin Pike, also looking good coming in from Sumner County this morning. We're going to get you a look at the latest drive times, but no real trouble other than light rain, which can cause trouble real fast. But right now, we're okay.
Right now, we are looking ahead to later tonight in the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated, they say, with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. And here's why. The family fostered 2 young boys, and they grew to love them. And they understood their goal is to reunite the children with their birth parents. But they tell us both boys were better off in their care.
The couple also says that DCS abruptly removed the children from their home, and they're worried about their safety and now fighting to regain custody.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was we didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that nobody's really cared enough.
He was wiping away tears there. Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our investigative reporter digs into this couple's concerns and why some believe Tennessee's foster care system needs to change.
6:53 is your time right now, approaching 7 o'clock. Planes, trains, and automobiles will be carrying millions of people through the nation as we get closer to Memorial Day. What to expect from what is expected to be a massive summer travel season.
And coming up in a couple of minutes during our 7 o'clock hour, the Tennessee Special Olympics kicking off today. Fox 17 News is
quality, styles, and prices you love. Max what makes you, you.
Right now, Fox 17 News, just about 6:56, so we're showing you a live look. You can see the Batman building, the Cumberland River. We are in a code red weather alert. So we're showing you this area because last week we did deal with some flooding, some high waters in this area.
And tornadoes.
And and that's the big issue that we're watching out for today. Greg says good news is the severe weather threat has gone down. But he's watching out for flooding, so we're going to be mindful of that as we continue on with our Friday morning.
Yeah, Cumberland's still high. Like you said, Erica, you can still see how high it is right now. Summer travel season shaping up to be one of the busiest ever, according to AAA, and it all kicks off Memorial Day weekend, official start, or I guess you should say the unofficial start.
It's my birthday weekend.
I know it is. Which obviously it would be the unofficial start to summer. TSA preparing to screen more than 18 million people at our airports just over the Memorial Day holiday weekend.
Okay, so maybe you're heading out to Nashville's airport. Well, they say they're trying to keep those wait times at 30 minutes or less at airports across the country. Still, most people plan to drive next weekend with, get this, a record 38.4 million people expected to hit the road. What?
Need to fix those gas prices first.
And the potholes.
Man, I mean, I know they're down somewhat around here, but gas prices are still really inflated compared to this time last Memorial Day. In fact, some people have said they're just going to get a plane ticket. It's going to be cheaper and easier.
We just start to weigh the price of flying versus driving. I mean, if it's close enough, people are going to fly, I think.
Well, AAA says Florida, Denver, and Los Angeles are among the top destinations for people traveling this Memorial Day. That's interesting. I would add Nashville to the list.
Well, for sure coming up in June, though, when we've got CMA Fest.
That's right.
Like the first and second week of June, so that's going to be packed.
Well, listen, hopefully the weather cooperates. Let's talk about this weekend, though. This weekend is not the best weekend to get outside.
It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. I mean, we've had weekends where we've had, severe weather and all those types of things that have been pulled into the mix here. That's not the case this time around, but definitely some showers and storms. You got to plan for rain no matter what your outdoor plan is, just in case. Today itself, 75 degrees, some scattered rain is out there. We have no severe weather here to kick off the morning hour, but we're going to continue to watch for any potential flooding throughout the morning. Sunset for us here today is going to be at 7:48. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of it until we get to Monday of next week. That's our best chance for some prolonged sunshine once again. Know when to mow, or, well, when not to. Not doing it today or tomorrow, and likely not doing it until late Sunday, because the first few hours of Sunday itself, we'll see some showers and storms exiting the Cumberland Plateau. So here's the weekend. We're talking temperature first. 80 degrees on your Saturday. Today will be in the middle 70s, as you saw. 84 degrees for Sunday. Scattered showers and storms on the radar for Saturday, mainly south of I-40 and mainly east of I-65. That doesn't mean that if you are north of 40, you're not going to see anything. It's just the general area that we'll look at. We do get new looks at Future Track every morning. Starting at 7 o'clock, a new update comes in. We'll show you that as we become the only live and local news source from 7 to 9.
Thank you very much, Greg. Steer clear traffic time right now. I-65 at Trinity Lane. Now, this is a problem child zone every weekday morning during our commute. And as expected, it is slow this morning. No crash here, though. That's the good news. Just check the brakes as you come through from north of downtown Nashville. I want to check on something that looks like it might have just popped up here. Okay, it's just a car that looks to be on the shoulder, I-24, as you're heading into Nashville. Otherwise, it looks like we're crash-free, but we'll get another check of steer clear traffic in just a few minutes.
Right now, though, a milestone event for the Tennessee Aquarium as they saw a really big community event that they celebrated. And we're going to take some more looks and give you some updates about this story.
Well, this is a live look behind us from the aquarium right now.
This is so cool.
Yeah, this is live from Chattanooga. This event that we're talking about happens every spring in stream communities across the state, but it is rare, if not unprecedented, in aquariums. So last month, the Tennessee Aquarium says a male fish started carrying rocks from all around the 22-foot-long stream exhibit to build a nest. That nest serves as a safe place for several other fish species to lay their eggs.
Wow, visitors can now see dozens of brightly colored fish ready to spawn. If you want to get some more details, go to fox17.com.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up at a code red weather alert, but not for severe weather. If we can make it through 9 o'clock, we're going to be good. We have some decent rain coming down that could lead to potential flooding we'll talk about.
And now on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, federal agents are searching through the wreckage from the deadly plane crash over in Williamson County. We're going to share some new updates from locals who are discovering debris near their home.
Coming up, I have an update on charges for the man who is accused of shooting a pizza delivery driver 7 times in Ashland City.
It is 7:01 right now. Thanks so much for starting your day with us here on Fox 17 News this morning. We are in a code red weather alert.
Yes.
I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We are going to get started right now on Fox 17 News talking about that code red weather alert because severe weather is out, but flooding potential is in.
And we've got a live look now from downtown Nashville. That's the Cumberland River right there in the middle. We can see the water levels are still elevated there, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, we had so much rain so quickly that it takes a long time to see everything make its way down, literally downstream or down the river when it comes to those higher levels. We're going to add a little water to it. I haven't seen any flooding yet, which is really good. And we have no indicators for severe weather for the rest of today or the weekend. So our code red is just a very precautionary. We're watching out for where these bands of heavier rainfall are setting up and if they could lead to any potential flooding. Taking a look right now, though, many areas have dried out nicely that were seeing rain about 2 hours ago. All of our southwestern counties are where the decent downpours started, and now you don't have much going on. Same with Nashville. We've kind of missed it here throughout the last couple of hours. A little misty fog here and there, but for the most part, the heavier rainfall has just been all around downtown. Jolton, though, next 5 minutes. Rain going to pick up pretty decently. You're already dealing with some light rainfall. It gets a little heavier. You can always find the heavier rain on the radar by the hotter color on the radar. So you get the yellow then to orange and red, indicating when you do see that heavier rain starting to come down. Exiting Leapers Fork in the next half hour and Thompson Station making its way into Franklin right now. So it'll be cutting across the I-65 corridor. This is lighter rainfall than what we're seeing off to the north and west, though. Keep that in mind. I mentioned the reds. If you start getting pink here, you got really heavy rainfall. So Dover all the way out through Oakwood, moving its way to the north and to the east. Clarksville in about 5-10 minutes. Fort Campbell in about 20 to 25 minutes. We'll keep our eyes on the radar and also look ahead. A lot of events this weekend. We'll start breaking down that Saturday and Sunday timeline for you.
Steer clear traffic at 7:03. Here's a quick look outside I-24 at Harding Place as you make that drive in from Antioch. We're doing okay. Lights on as that rain starts to fall out there, but at least not yet. We're not seeing any major accidents, just slowdowns. Here is one coming down from Clarksville, 65 minutes on that drive as we do have a crash here right at exit 4 Highway 49 there in the Clarksville area coming down through Pleasant View. A small delay there to try to take Highway 41A. That's a good way to steer clear and get past that. We'll take a look at other sections of town coming up soon.
A breaking news update now here on your Friday morning. We continue to gather more information about a deadly shooting that happened this morning in the Chestnut Hill neighborhood. Top left of your screen shows you where this is located. It's kind of in between Fort Negley and Trevecca Nazarene University. Police found one man dead in the street at the intersection of Lewis and Hart. The investigation is still active right now, and so we will be bringing you any updates as we get them regarding both the victim and who might police be looking for after this deadly shooting. Those live updates coming for you through 9.
And this morning, we're also getting some new details about the deadly plane crash over in Williamson County. We understand the victims do include a plastic surgeon from Louisiana and his 2 children. They were scheduled to go ahead and be attending a university graduation today. We understand that it is confirmed the plane started to go ahead and break up in midair.
One of the pieces of that Beechcraft V-35 collected from the debris field that spans a half mile, and you're looking at one of the investigators on an ATV there pulling some of that wreckage out of the area in southwest Williamson County. We know the plane took off from Baton Rouge around 8:50 in the morning on the way to Louisville, Kentucky. Now, as we get more details here, we know about 10 minutes before the crash happened, radar data showed that the speed increased and the flight path became erratic, and that's what we're watching right here. A veteran pilot and flight instructor who inspected the flight data suggests a faulty autopilot feature might have played a role in the crash.
We see that the airplane is flying consistently, but then the speed more than doubles as the airplane is plunging toward the ground. This is indicative to me of a pilot who's attempting to troubleshoot a malfunctioning autopilot in flight.
Well, now federal investigators tell us that they're looking into what exactly happened as they try to put the pieces of this plane back together. It's not an easy process at all.
No, and just thinking about too what that family must be going through. The mother having the husband or father of these two children killed days before their college graduation. Just tragic. Investigators right now also asking anybody who might have cell phone or doorbell video to please share it, and you can send that footage to the NTSB. We've got a link for it in this story at fox17.com. A close call this morning. We have an update on the pizza delivery driver who says somebody shot at him 7 times in Ashland City while he was on the job, and the suspect's charges have been now upped by a grand jury, a request that the family of the victim was pleading for.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live in Ashland City, telling us about the charges and giving us more on from the delivery driver, his perspective.
Good morning. The request of 18-year-old Caden Wheeler was to charge Ryan Babcock with attempted murder. This comes after he tells me that Babcock shot at him 7 times right here in this driveway behind me on North Pool Street at the end of last month. Wheeler tells me that he was confused about which home he was supposed to deliver the pizza to. It was the home to the right of where Babcock came out of, and so Wheeler parked in the wrong driveway. Initially, Babcock was charged with aggravated assault, but last week a grand jury charged him with attempted second-degree murder. He was charged on 5 other counts, including 3 counts of reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and vandalism. When Wheeler was first shot at, he and his family were shocked that the only thing Babcock was charged with was aggravated assault. But now that the verdict is in, he says he feels a weight has been lifted off his shoulder.
Yeah, it was definitely a weight lifted off, just knowing that, it just wasn't aggravated assault. So it was definitely like a calm, like, okay, it's not just, just regular, aggravated assault. And yeah, I'd say I'm just glad everything turned out the way it has so far.
He tells me that although he is satisfied with the verdict, his life might not ever be the same. He tells me that he plans to never deliver again for any other company. And at this point, he tells me that he looks forward to moving on with his life. Reporting live in Ashland City, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. 7:08 right now, on high alert. Why one Robertson County school will be seeing an increased police presence at school today.
Also just ahead, we're going to continue updating our...
We got this. At AFS, we'll do a home inspection for free.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
7:10 is the time. We've all seen the party buses in downtown Nashville, or tractors or whatever. A lot of tourists find them to be very fun. They come here from around the world and jump on board. They hoot, they holler, and they have a good time. However, some people who live here find them to be a hazard. They say they slow down traffic, make too much noise, and sometimes introduce reckless behavior out there to the streets of Nashville. That's why the Licensed Transportation Commission wants to come up with more rules for how they operate. But there's now a new set of vehicles that want to come in. Pedicabs. They are the bicycles that you see that can hold up to 6 people on the back with just 1 person pedaling. They say that the pedicab industry wants to come into Nashville, and it could make a difference when it comes to cases like Riley Strain, that college student who wandered away, ended up in the Cumberland River.
I can't count the times I have been on that same street and have picked up kids that were drunk, disoriented, couldn't find their friends, didn't know where they were, couldn't get home. And that is part of a pedicab's job. And this is why we certainly, I thought, if there were more pedicabs here, someone would have seen that kid.
Now, that particular owner there, Chelsea Lovelet, wants to expand the amount of pedicabs that she has in her company from 1 up to 10. The commission is still looking at lots of other applications as well. New from Smoky Barn News, parents and students may see a heavy police presence at the Greenbrier Middle School today. This is coming as concerned parents got wind of a threatening note written on the wall inside of the bathroom of the school. Now, according to witnesses, that note said, quote, "I'm shooting the school up Friday," end quote. So far, investigators say there's been no credible threat that has been identified, but they do not take threats like this very lightly. Some parents have decided to keep their children home from school today as a precaution.
Coming up next on our forecast, still monitoring the radar here for you this morning. You're in Code Red for the possibility of some spotty flooding. We'll take a look where the heavy rain is at and when it moves out.
And steer clear traffic takes us to I-440 at 21st Avenue. It's not
on all Restonic and Scott Living mattresses.
Plus huge discounts throughout the entire Sleep Center. It's going on now.
The B.F. Myers Furniture and Mattress Memorial Day sale.
7:15 is the time. Looking ahead, letting y'all know the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security and THP, they're honoring state troopers and other law enforcement officers who died in the line of duty. This is going to be happening this morning at their annual THP memorial service. So we're showing you a live look of the traffic out there. I'll let you know the service is taking place at the THP headquarters. That's in Nashville, 9 o'clock this morning. Fox 17 News, we're always working to keep you in the know. Of course, we're going to share some more updates from that service happening that will post the updates, I should say, on fox17.com.
Right now, Code Red weather alert in effect for today. The risk of flooding, the primary concern. But as we look ahead even to the weekend and so many outdoor events, Greg, I noticed your forecast has rain every day of the weekend.
Unfortunately, it does. It's not every hour of every day, though.
Okay.
That's the catch, is kind of piecing together the dry hours that are most likely and also the areas that are most likely dry. So we'll start off with the here and now, and we'll get you all the way through the weekend. You can see Doppler radar, some of our heaviest rainfall in the Clarksville area right now. No thunder, no lightning at all. But Hopkinsville, Clarksville seeing some decent rain. Let's zoom in a little bit here toward Nashville. It's kind of missed out on a lot of the rainfall so far this morning. Luckily, we had some showers overnight, and there has been some mist. But as far as the heavier downpours that we've been seeing in some of our neighborhoods, not much really has been happening downtown. Taking a look, Nashville, the next 10-15 minutes, you get light rainfall. Then about a half hour after that, you'll start to see some more moderate rainfall if these showers hold together. Franklin, tiny little guy right over you right now. And then you'll get a little break and then a few more quick downpours. This really just is heavy rain. That's all we're getting this morning. We have had very little to no lightning here. I think we've had 2 or 3 lightning strikes since about 4 o'clock this morning. Taking a look, Murfreesboro starting to get your first little showers here, and that'll pick up. Exiting Eagleville, making its way toward Murfreesboro, and we'll have about a half hour decent downpour. It will limit visibility with it as well, so keep that in mind. But the big picture overall, pretty easy to handle, and I've seen no indications of any flooding so far this morning. If we keep it that way for the next 2 hours, we're going to be in the all clear for the rest of the weekend. Muggy meter, you're going to notice the humidity every hour of the day the next 4 or 5 days. Keep that in mind. We're at 67 degrees right now and fairly overcast downtown. Here's finding those hours that are dry. Everything becomes much more hit and miss throughout this afternoon, and that's how it's going to be. A few weak thunderstorms can't be ruled out, but no severe weather. We're not code red for severe weather. Here's tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., relatively dry. Going 5 o'clock until 10, most of our action stays well south of I-40 with the exception of a few little pop-ups. So most of the morning in the Nashville area looking really good. Afternoon, though, 2 p.m. through sunset, pop-up showers and thunderstorms once again weak. They're going to be out there. So the morning trending drier, the afternoon much more hit and miss with showers and storms for both of our days.
7:18, quick look at your steer clear traffic out there as we get started at I-440 at 21st Avenue. There was a pretty major crash here on Hillsborough itself. That's right here. Exit. This is the front door into Green Hills right here, right off of I-440, and had the traffic backed up here all the way across the overpass, but things have eased up in the last few minutes. Let me show you to you right here. Here's 440. There's the exit, and this is where the backup. At one point, it was all red. Now it's gone down to yellow. There's a crash here around the Golf Club Lane area that is backing things up there towards 440. So heads up, anybody who needs to get into Green Hills this morning. It's going to be a little slower than usual, a little faster than usual, or sooner than usual. It's always slow getting into Green Hills, but normally it's much later before it gets this slow. So heads up in that area. Here's 65 at Trinity Lane on the north side, coming in with normal traffic with the rain starting to push in, and that will slow things down even more.
Justin, you were just mentioning Green Hills. That is the location this morning to kick off the Special Olympics. The Special Olympics Tennessee starts their games pretty much as we speak. More than 1,000 athletes are coming from all across the state right there to Green Hills. They're going to be at Lipscomb University.
So right now we're going to check in with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse, trying to get over to that area, giving us an update about everything happening. Hi there, Peyton.
Yeah, good morning, Jen and Erica. So we were actually on our way to Lipscomb. Didn't really think twice about how long it would take us to get here because the event actually starts at 8 a.m. So we should have left earlier, but just so you guys can see, we have the sign here that says Lipscomb University. You can see the traffic back up right now, but after training all year, athletes get to march in just like the Olympics. How cool is that now? And getting the chance to represent their hometowns. Track and field, swimming, volleyball, and powerlifting are a few of the sports athletes get to compete in. But this year, the organization introduces another sport, pickleball. The best part about the Special Olympics, Justin Bradford says, the community that this event brings.
Just to see pure unfiltered joy and just seeing people being able to have fun, to be included and to be able to compete, beat their personal best, set new personal records, and just have an absolute blast.
Special Olympics representative Justin Bradford says the athletes tell him every year seeing their friends is the best part. There's also going to be a special guest speaker. There's vendors, merch, and a victory celebration when this wraps up on Saturday. Pickleball screening starts at 8 a.m., so it's about 40 minutes away from now. And head over to our website at fox17.com. We're going to have the link that'll take you to the schedule if you do plan on attending the Special Olympics. Reporting live in Green Hills, Peyton News, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you so much for that update. Let's talk about soccer, a new direction for Nashville SC, why the team is parting ways with their head coach of 7 years.
And right now, Fox 17 News is going to hold on our Code Red weather alert for now. The biggest concern for flooding is going to be through the morning hours. If we can get to lunchtime and we haven't had any flooding, Greg says
Clarksville. Save thousands on any new or used vehicle with hail damage. But hurry in to get the best selection. Check our inventory at sarahclarksville.com.
Okay. Here we go. All right, listen up, sports fans. The Nashville Soccer Club parting ways with head coach Gary Smith. It's kind of hard to make out here behind us, but we do have a live look over at Geodis Park right now, where the team's first ever head coach, he was on our show.
Yes.
When he first came to Nashville.
Absolutely.
But now he is going in a new direction.
We are learning that Rumba Mutinali has taken over now as the interim head coach. Our Fox 17 sports director, Jill Jelnett, tells us what's next on the road ahead.
Just 12 games into the MLS season, and Nashville SC has decided the Gary Smith era is officially over. The mid-season move may come as a bit of a surprise, but if you've been following the club this season, you might have seen the writing on the wall. Smith has led Nashville SC to 6 straight playoff appearances. However, the argument could be made they've never been able to take that next step in the postseason. After a conference semifinal appearance in 2021, Nashville SC has failed to win an MLS playoff game the last 2 years. It's also worth noting that Nashville SC was close, very close to getting its first ever trophy last year, finishing runner-up in the League's Cup final. But since that run, Nashville SC has won just 5 of its last 27 MLS matches. It's also important to take into account that injuries have played a big role this season. All 3 of Nashville's designated players have missed significant time. And really, Gary Smith has only had his first choice of players for the last couple of weeks. Ben Wright with MLSsoccer.com and Broadway Sports Media points out, though, that the injuries haven't been the only concerning part of Nashville's play.
These issues that we're seeing, certainly injuries haven't helped, but it's the same issues that they had last year with the full roster, pretty much since their League's Cup run, since they made it to the final last summer and lost to Inter Miami. They struggled to really create anything going forward. Their attack was predictable, didn't change anything up. It was kind of the same old story for them for most of the year, and we've seen a lot of those issues kind of carry on into 2024.
You heard Ben mention the lack of offense from this team. Well, their decrease in number of goals from season to season is proof of that. Last year, Nashville scoring just 39 goals in the regular season, ranked 22nd in the league. This year, only 15 goals. They're only 12 games in, but still that number already ranking 20th in the MLS. As for what's next, Boys and Gold will continue MLS play this weekend when they host their rivals Atlanta United on Saturday. Current player development coach Rumba Monthali will serve as the interim while they search for its next head coach. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
And we are still tracking some rain that is on the radar for you here. I have a brand new look at some tracking here in just about 3 minutes from right now. But know that when it's not raining, it is going to be humid. Right side of your screen, temps are in the 60s. We're aiming for the mid-70s later on this afternoon.
Up next on Fox 17 News this morning, we'll give you an update on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at Gallatin Pike as the rain starts to move in the Music City.
And a shooting right outside the downtown bus station leaves a teenager in critical condition. The man on your
makes you, you.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up, I have an update on the charges of the man who is accused of shooting at a pizza delivery driver here in Ashland City.
And taking a look this morning here, we're not seeing much rain in the Nashville area just yet. Sun trying to peek through, but we do have some decent downpours in there. We're in code red for the possibility of standing water and flooding this morning.
Steer clear traffic takes us to Vietnam Vets at Gallatin Pike. Looking okay from this direction. We're going to tell you about some other areas around town that could be of some concern.
Looking dreary outside. Thank you so much, though, for waking up with us here, trying to bring some sunshine to your Friday on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. when the other stations go to that network programming. That's pre-recorded. It's not live, but we are, and we've got this code red weather alert where we can constantly keep you updated every few minutes on the rain as it moves in and move out. Greg, who's up next in the rain department?
Nashville, for the first time in a while, going to see some decent rain. Now, we're not talking anything that's out of this world heavy, but just some steady rainfall for the first time in a little while. Clarksville, you're seeing some decent rain moving out. Let's put a few tracks on some of our localities here in some of our hometowns. Murfreesboro, light rainfall right now, but you got this right down to your south and your west, which is a pocket of some more heavy rainfall that's going to move in. These little cells are going to be on the radar throughout this morning. They could put down about 1/2 inch of rain in the course of an hour, and they're moving pretty slowly. So this is why we're still code red, watching out for any potential flooding in some of the areas that still have some higher water levels thanks to last week's thunderstorms and flash flooding. Taking a look here. Nashville area, about 10 minutes. It's going to start off light for about a half hour, kind of like what we're seeing right now in Bellevue, and then we'll get the heavier rain beginning to move in behind it. We've had no thunder or lightning for the last hour and a half. Our most decent rainfall making its way north of the Kentucky state line, up toward Hopkinsville, Pembroke. It's moving away from Clarksville in toward Guthrie, and this is what we're going to be monitoring the next 2 hours here. And if we do not see any indications of any flooding anywhere, we're not going to be code red for this afternoon. No severe weather, just the possibility of standing water. Now, with that no severe weather, that doesn't mean we're storm free. There'll be some scattered storms later today and Saturday into Sunday. We'll start looking ahead to that on Future Track in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic gets us out and about to I-40 at Fester's Lane. This is just east of downtown. Our traffic in that area moving along, but moving slowly as you make that drive in the Music City this morning. And now the rain is starting to become a real factor out there, as it's certainly much heavier in certain parts of town than others. So heads up on that. You will have to compete with it out there on the roads here for you this morning. We're also watching the rain in Sumner County. This is Vietnam Vets in Sumner County at Gallatin Pike, pushing your way in from Gallatin and Hendersonville. No big slowdowns, typical drive this morning. Just know the rainfall is going to impact you. Hopefully it doesn't cause any serious accidents that will clog anything up. We'll take a look at drive times coming up in a few.
Justin, thank you. 7:33 is your time right now, and making headlines this morning. A bizarre and troubling story from East Tennessee. The remains of a missing man have now been found in a freezer that was buried in Carter County.
Yeah, the Carter County Sheriff's Office says they found the body of Edward Elliott in a freezer over in Carter County Wednesday. That is right near the North Carolina border, again in East Tennessee. Elliott was reported missing back in March.
Now, the man that you see here on your screen, this is Joey Gwynn. He is the suspect in the case. He is facing all kinds of charges, including first-degree murder. And listen to this. You know, after all the talk that we've had here in our state and our investigations here on Fox 17 News about the problem related to low bond set for certain criminals, or in some cases no bond set at all, not in this case. The bond set for Joey Gwynn is $5 million.
Well, Metro Police say a man is under arrest for shooting a teenager on the steps of the WeGo, that is the bus station building. It's downtown in Nashville. Police say 31-year-old Kenneth Johnson, a convicted felon, shot the 18-year-old and left him in critical condition. The victim, though, is stable. Officers say the teenager had a gun and did fire back.
Yeah, what you're looking at here is the picture of the man taken into custody and then the paraphernalia found at the scene. Police say what appeared to be cocaine and pot, both found in addition to the guns. Police say Johnson is likely going to face even more felony charges related to this shooting.
Well, a pizza delivery driver getting a scare after making a stop at the wrong house. This does come after he was shot, he says, 7 times in Ashland City.
And this is a follow-up story to one that our own Karen Aguilar first reported on a few weeks ago. She joins us live at the scene of that shooting as we're getting new information. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. 18-year-old Caden Wheeler tells me that he feels justice was served when Ryan Babcock's charge was upped from aggravated assault to several counts, including attempted second-degree murder, something that his family had been pleading for. Now, this comes after he tells me that Babcock shot at him several times right here in this driveway behind me on North Pool Street at the end of last month. Wheeler says he was trying to deliver a Domino's pizza to a home right next to Babcock's, but parked in the wrong driveway. He says Babcock came out of his home when Wheeler returned to his truck and shot at him 7 times, one of the bullets nearly missing his head. His family wanted more to be done after Babcock was initially charged with aggravated assault, and they say he was released shortly after. Last week, the grand jury charged Babcock with attempted second-degree murder. He was charged on 5 other counts, including 3 counts of reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and vandalism. Now that the verdict is in, Wheeler tells me that he is satisfied, but his life might never be the same.
I would say it's still there, and I'm still rattled by it because if I hear I heard a car pop because of exhaust, and that kind of got me a little usually I never jump up at that stuff and get scared, but there's little things here and there that might get me here and there, but it's definitely something you think about every day.
He tells me that he's just trying to forget what happened and is looking forward to moving on. His graduation is next week. Reporting live in Ashland City, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Looks like Tennessee is still the place to be. We know it, but now a new survey shows 2 of our Middle Tennessee cities are on a particular rise. We'll tell you about the areas where new folks are headed.
I did not need a survey to tell me that. But
I know, listen, we know it.
Exactly.
Now survey says.
We are continuing your Code Red weather alert, showing you a live look at Geodis Park. It's pretty misty.
Call 299-CASH today.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Southeast Financial Credit Union.
Just about 7:40, and we are following breaking news this morning in the golf community. World #1 golfer Scottie Scheffler now has a mugshot after being detained by Louisville police. Here it is right here on your screen. By the way, the second round of the PGA Championship over in Louisville now going to begin at 8:35 this morning. But let's get to this mugshot again. This is from our sister station over in Louisville. They say a spokesperson from Louisville police told them when it comes to this story that a shuttle bus hit and killed a pedestrian outside of the Valhalla Golf Club. Well, then an ESPN reporter says that Scheffler was driving past the scene this morning, but reportedly, according to police, did not stop when the officer asked him to. The reporter says Scheffler dragged the officer for a short time before stopping. He adds that another officer told him, quote, "There is nothing you can do. He's going to jail," referencing Scheffler. Scheffler, by the way, is coming off 4 victories in his last 5 tournaments, including a victory at the Masters, I should say, last month in Augusta. This is a breaking news story that we are continuing to update.
Boy, a lot to talk about there. All right, let's talk about your forecast this morning. We have got the very latest going on with your weather for this weekend. No severe weather threat. I know we've gone code red here in the studios, but there is no severe weather threat this morning. Greg is saying that some of the storms that are over the area have lost their intensity, so that is good news. We will have a rainy morning, which most of you under the sound of my voice right now are seeing that rain, and it looks a little better every hour, so that is good news as well. Greg will get into more details about that coming up in a few.
Yeah, that code red weather alert is really for the flooding concern, not for the storm concern. So we'll monitor that. And new this morning from the Nashville Business Journal, Southern Living recently highlighted the 25 best cities on the rise in the U.S. And a couple of places here in Tennessee made the list. Franklin, no surprise here, landing at number 2 on the list of this year's best cities to live. The only city that beat out Franklin, Tennessee, Wilmington, North Carolina. Also, Clarksville is on the list. They come in as one of the fastest growing cities in the country. They are 18th on this new Southern Living list. And Bowling Green, Kentucky, also just right on the outskirts of our viewing area, about 65 miles north of Nashville, showing up on the Southern Living list at number 7.
It's pretty high. Coming up, we'll have the latest on your steer clear traffic, including that drive down I-24. The latest drive times fresh out of the oven in just a few.
Double murder death penalty cases are supposed to be open and shut cases. But this case, this Smoky Mountains case, it's
donations, high quality and legendary affordability. They were ready to team up with the pros. See how much you could save with a free estimate today.
Welcome back to right now, 7:44. We're in a code red weather alert, but this is not for severe weather. It is for the possibility of some standing water and flooding throughout this morning. I'm seeing no signs of it just yet, and if we don't have any in the next hour, we're smooth sailing for the rest of today. Just a few more on and off showers and storms. Let's look ahead to Sunday, though. Big event. The Nashville Humane Association has the Mutt Strut at Shelby Bottoms Greenway. Now, the question is, can we keep it dry, first of all? And also, how wet will the ground be in general from how much rain we get today and tomorrow? So 63 at 7 o'clock, 71 at 9, and 75. Temps, great. Little humidity, yes. Isolated showers will be on the radar, but there's a good chance we get out of this one without anything happening directly over the actual Mutt Strut itself. But we're going to put down a good inch of rain between now and then. So an inch of rain means there could be wet grass, wet paws. Keep that in mind. Get our dog of the day. He was like, I got a stick. I don't care about your rain right now. Jamie and Matt sent this picture in from Murfreesboro. 19-week-old pup there, little corgi mix right there. And if you're getting out there for a dog walk later on this morning, you're going to have wet paws. And there's no way around it here, especially if you have one of the fluffier dogs. Taking a look here, 66 degrees at 8 o'clock. We'll go 68 at 10 and 68 degrees also at 11. Here's how it works. Our steadiest rainfall is right now. That rainfall will get much more isolated going into the afternoon and therefore could give us enough energy for a weak thunderstorm. But we have no signs of severe weather when it comes to anything with hail, tornadoes, or damaging wind. All good right there. Sending your dog of the day photos by going to my Facebook page, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that pinned post, and you can submit your photos right there. 7-day forecast. Yes, we're going to have showers and storms Saturday and Sunday. As far as the mornings go, though, both mornings are trending on the drier side. We have to talk about the afternoons coming up in the next check of the forecast in about 10 minutes.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Let's get you out and about to I-24 at Haywood Lane. This is in Antioch. Traffic is rolling through, but it's doing so slowly. We've got the rain that is pouring down right now across Metro Nashville, and it is affecting traffic in a big way, even though we have not found major accidents that are tying up the interstate, at least not right now. This is I-40 from Charlotte. Good morning, Bellevue. Should make that drive in from West Nashville. We're doing okay out there as well. Latest drive times, as promised, 34 minutes in from Mount Juliet right now, just over an hour from Murfreesboro, 64 minutes coming down from Clarksville.
7:47 is your time right now. He is the next man scheduled for execution in Tennessee. Gary Sutton has been on death row for 33 years after being convicted of a double murder in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains.
Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier has been looking into this case for nearly 2 years now, and you have evidence that calls Sutton's guilt into question.
Oh, good morning. This double murder case at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains is so full of holes, you wonder how they ever convicted him. That feeling is spreading as the Sutton case sits on the governor's desk for a critical review. Carolyn Miller was young and in love with Gary Sutton. She still remembers the day he was arrested for murdering his best friend Tommy Griffin with a shotgun and then burning Griffin's sister alive in her car. Miller said they thought the charges would be dropped after they realized Gary had nothing to do with it.
We didn't have money for the right attorneys, the right investigators, and you don't think that you're going to be put in prison for something you know you didn't do, and on the backside of it, they know he didn't do it.
Sutton and his uncle James Dillinger were convicted and given the death penalty, even though the detective who promised 3 eyewitnesses provided none.
0 eyewitnesses, 0 motive, no murder weapon, nothing. And all these people that they said they had, they didn't.
We found 2 witnesses who actually felt like their testimony was manipulated. Barbara Jones told us she can't identify the car she saw or who was in it. Another witness, Jason McDonald, says a key part of his testimony was omitted. The part where he said he heard a shot and saw a car that did not belong to Sutton or his uncle. And then Tina Hartman shows up, a witness never interviewed, who identifies a new suspect, Lester Johnson, with a strong motive he's never even questioned. This all comes to light after Miller hires Nashville private detective Heather Cohen to reinvestigate the case. One of the most alarming aspects, the day they find Tommy Griffin's body by a creek, there is no evidence of the shotgun shells. Then, days later, detectives say they find 2 shotgun shells perfectly side by side at the crime scene. Here's another problem with the case. The prosecution needed Tommy Griffin to have been murdered on Friday. It had to be Friday to support the theory. 3 pathologists believe Griffin was murdered on Monday or Sunday because when Tommy Griffin's body was discovered, he's in full rigor mortis. In case you didn't know, bodies don't stay in rigor mortis that long. Nevertheless, Charles Harlan, as a witness for the prosecution, says Griffin died on Friday. Dr. Harlan ended up losing his medical license when the Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners concluded he had committed numerous acts of malpractice, fraud, deceit, and unprofessional conduct. This is the doctor who helps convict Gary Sutton in disagreement with multiple reputable doctors?
It was scientifically impossible because when they found Tommy Griffin's body on Monday, February 24th, his body was in full rigor mortis. And a human body only stays in rigor mortis for up to 36 hours. So there's no way that he had been murdered on Friday night.
The case is so shaky, a group of lawmakers and other elected officials have asked the governor for a complete review and meeting to discuss Sutton's case. State Senator Paige Wally.
I just want to make sure that if we're going to have someone pay that kind of price for a crime, that we ought to darn well be sure they're the ones that did it. And there seems to be enough evidence to me to warrant another look.
Meanwhile, Gary Sutton waits, finally hopeful again, not just waiting to die.
I literally got to a point, Dennis. I've got a family that loves me, that knows I didn't do this, and I finally reached a point of where if I'd kept asking them, they would have kept spending money. And I mean, they fought and fought and fought. And I literally reached a point when I said, look, y'all need to go in and live y'all's life and quit spending money, because I thought, I just felt like I was banging my head against a wall.
All possible because of the unlikely return of Carolyn Miller. She moved on to a new life after Sutton's conviction and only returned when he had a temporary execution date. It made her want to talk to him. She ended up back in love with him.
I know he's innocent, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do and whatever I can do to prove his innocence, because Gary's been sitting on death row for 33 years for something he did absolutely not do.
Now, there are 2 things going on right now that are significant. One, the case file sits on the governor's desk. Of course, you understand what he has the power. Also, the conviction review for the federal public defender has taken the case. So the appeals team has taken the case, based partially, I think, on our stories, but partially because it's obvious. You know, there's not one thing wrong with this case. There's not like, here's the one thing that we, hammer over and over. As you see, it takes so long to tell the story because there are so many things that don't add up.
You've been covering this case for what, more than 2 years
Yeah,
now?
about
so
2
I'm just
years,
so curious if anything has stood out now with this latest story that you've updated.
I think that going back to the medical examiner, when you realize at the time of trial, even then, that Charles Harlan, who was disgraced and lost his license for lying and making things up and all kinds of crazy. Everyone else in the room was against him. But I feel like sometimes when the prosecution comes in, it's like, we're the prosecution, and here's the state medical examiner, and here's the TBI, and here's all these important people, and they're saying, oh, no, he did it. You're not listening to the local medical examiner who looks at the body and said, none of that's true. But now you look back and you say, wow, it wasn't true.
Wow. Incredible details. Do we have, I know there's no timeline now because it's on the governor's desk, but I guess, I think by the end of the year we'll know.
I don't know.
Yeah?
I mean, he's got to look at it.
Right.
Friends of his are asking for a meeting. I think that's helpful. Political allies. It's not, me and you.
Sure.
It's friends of his are saying, please read this, political allies. So maybe that'll make a difference.
Can't wait to hear your next update. Dennis, thank you so much. At 7:54 right now, sending it over to a live look right here in Franklin this morning. Good morning to you in Williamson County.
Joy in every journey. Lease an Elantra for $189 a month or get up to $1,500 total savings. Plus military personnel get an additional $500 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Good morning. Waking up here monitoring areas of some heavier rainfall, but the rain becoming less and less frequent across Middle Tennessee right now, which gives us more and more indication that in about the next hour or two we can drop code red and just walk our way through this afternoon and then the weekend without any severe weather. This morning it's code red for the possibility of flooding, which I've not seen much of. Weekend itself, some scattered storms possible on Saturday, especially the afternoon and evening, and especially south of 40 and east of I-65. That's where the majority of our storms will fire. Those also will not be severe. And then we dry out going into Sunday, but when that rain does come down, it'll be heavy at times between the rain we had overnight into this morning and what we will see later today and tomorrow. That'll be about an inch worth of rain that has come down, so keep that in mind. We'll have some wet areas here for your Sunday, even though we'll be drying out. Much warmer though. Temperatures today going to be in the middle 70s. We're going to talk low to middle 80s for Saturday and Sunday.
Steer clear traffic for you at 7:58. Here's a quick look at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at New Shackle Island. That is where we do have one crash that is tying up the lane here. They've got a tow truck in place trying to get the car out of there. You can't see a lot of it, obviously, because of the road signs. Just know it's there and it's blocking up one lane. You should make that drive in. You can try to use Gallatin Pike as a good way to steer clear, but just give yourself a few extra minutes. You should be able to get by, and this should be out of here, we hope, in the next few minutes.
Justin, thank you. 7:58. The internet right now is dying of laughter at this. Watch on your screen here as a Tennessee possum has been faking his death over and over and over and over again. Yes, this is what they do as a defense mechanism, but Carson the possum has lived at a Tennessee rescue facility for about a month, and every time the shelter director comes near him, this is what happens.
There was one time I ran and got the stethoscope and listened to his lungs and heart. He was completely fine.
So there he is, dead again. We're just going to leave our little dead friend right there.
Oh my God.
Hey, I know that half the internet is here right now just to see Carson die.
I can see that he's doing very well, other than being dead.
All right, Carson likes to fake his death, okay? He doesn't really want to be approached or bothered. He's playing dead over and over and over again, even once while running on an exercise wheel. That Carson.
Such a drama queen. I mean, the drama.
All right, we got to go from possums to peaches. Jen's over here faking. I mean, can we take her look? Come on, we got to come back. Okay, there she is.
Anybody looking?
Wake up, wake up. We got to talk about peaches.
This is what I do when my kids bother me. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. You know what? If you like peaches this weekend, you're going to want to get out to the Peach Festival that is happening over in Putnam County at the fairgrounds in Cookeville this weekend.
Yeah, this is over on the plateau, about an hour and a half drive east of Nashville. But hey, it could be worth a drive because it's free to get in and it's free to park. They have all kinds of events, activities for the kids, and all the peaches you can eat. You can find more about it right now at fox17.com.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
And we are waking up in a code red weather alert. No severe weather at any point today or this weekend. We've had some heavier rainfall with the potential of flooding, but that is going down minute by minute. Things are looking pretty good. The latest update in the forecast.
Steer clear traffic at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at New Shackle Island. People out on the side of the road. I don't know if you can see them there, but we'll point them out and tell you about the best ways to steer clear.
Charges for the man who is accused of shooting at a pizza delivery driver for parking in this driveway in Ashland City have been increased. I'll have the details in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Friday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. We kick off our 8 o'clock hour now with the latest in our Code Red weather alert.
And the latest, honestly, is good information here. Hour by hour, we've been talking about watching some heavier rainfall that's been coming down and seeing where those pockets of rain have settled in. We're code red right now for the possibility of flooding, but most of that rain, again, lifting to the north if you want another trajectory of it, so kind of the bottom of your screen to the top right-hand side of it. Most of the heavier rainfall making it away from areas that we're concerned about flooding. So if this continues to be the trend the next hour, we're really setting ourselves up nicely for the rest of the weekend, or at least the rest of today. And we'll go back to blue lights and not necessarily carefree, but no real caution to be taken. Heavier rainfall, Laverne out toward Nolensville, Oak Valley, Smyrna. It's set up pretty good here. You'll get about a good half-inch of rain in the next hour if it continues to move at the rate that it is. Nashville, just a couple of showers overnight and a few light sprinkles have led to some steadier light rainfall. Not a whole lot has happened close to downtown so far this morning. So what is new this morning? Some steady rainfall has been there in those isolated little pockets. Scattered afternoon storms. Much less rain on the radar per hour, but thunder and lightning possible. Flooding has been possible this morning. We haven't seen it yet, though. And also, no severe weather in the forecast for us. The 7-day forecast, 75 degrees. Temperature here for today is high, so not quite hitting the 80-degree mark, right around where we're supposed to be. 80 for tomorrow, 84 degrees on Sunday. We've got to time out the rain, though, for Saturday and Sunday because day to day and location to location, the rain chances will be different. We'll look at that in a few.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out and about to Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at New Shackle Island. This is in Sumner County. As you make that drive down from that area there, traffic is crawling by because of a crash in one lane. So you can get by. Just know that you have to move over and give them room to operate. We saw a few people standing around right over here on the shoulder. I'm not sure if they're still there or not. A lot of this is obstructed, of course, by the sign, but you can get by. You can use either Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and take that one lane, or you can go to Gallatin Pike as a good way to steer clear coming down there from Hendersonville and Gallatin and beyond. This is I-40 at Fester's Lane, a rainy start that has caused some slowdowns, but no significant accidents right this second that is tying things up as you make that drive in from the east side. We'll continue to follow things for you.
Well, this Friday morning, we have some new details about the deadly plane crash over in Williamson County. The victims include a plastic surgeon from Louisiana and his 2 children. They were scheduled to graduate college today.
Just so tragic here, confirming the plane did start to break up in midair as some of the newest information is now released. One of the pieces of that Beechcraft V-35 collected from a debris field spanning about a half a mile. Federal investigators say the plane took off from Baton Rouge, Louisiana around 8:50 in the morning on the way to Louisville, Kentucky.
About 10 minutes before the crash, radar information shows the speed increased and the flight path became erratic. A veteran pilot and flight instructor who inspected the flight data suggests a faulty autopilot may have played a role in this crash.
We see that the airplane is flying consistently, but then the speed more than doubles as the airplane is plunging toward the ground. This is indicative to me of a pilot who's attempting to troubleshoot a malfunctioning autopilot in flight.
Now federal investigators, they're trying to look into what exactly happened as they put the pieces of the plane back together.
Investigators also asking anybody who might have cell phone or doorbell video to please share that. We have a link for you to send that right now on our website, fox17.com. A close call this morning. We have an update on the story of a pizza delivery driver who got shot at 7 times in Ashland City. We've learned the charges against the suspect have now been upped by a grand jury. That's something the family of the victim had been asking for.
Yeah, and this is one of our follow-up stories here on Fox 17 News. Our reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live in Ashland City, talking about the charges and giving us the delivery driver's reaction.
Good morning. 18-year-old Caden Wheeler tells me that he never expected, as nobody would, to get into his car and head to deliver a pizza, then get shot at 7 times for being in the wrong driveway. And that driveway is actually right there in front of you on North Pool Street here in Ashland City, the home belonging to the suspect, Ryan Babcock. He tells me Babcock was initially charged with aggravated assault, but thought it should be attempted murder. Last week, a grand jury granted him that request and charged him with attempted second-degree murder along with 5 other counts. They include 3 counts of reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and vandalism. Now that the verdict is in, he says he feels a weight has been lifted off his shoulder.
Yeah, it was definitely a weight lifted off, just knowing that, it just wasn't aggravated assault. So it was definitely like a calm, like, okay, it's not just, just regular, aggravated assault. And, yeah, I'd say I'm just glad everything turned out the way it has so far.
He tells me that although he is satisfied with the verdict, his life might not ever be the same. He tells me that from now on, he won't be delivering for any company ever again. He tells me that he just looks forward to moving on with his life. His graduation is next week. Reporting live in Ashland City, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Changing the way that people party downtown. The Metro Transportation License Commission meeting for hours, talking with drivers of some of these entertainment vehicles. We have details on the new rules to keep passengers safe.
People will walk away and be like, I love the music, but I didn't love how I felt threatened by the taxi drivers.
All right, we're going to have continuing coverage on the hidden downtown danger.
Financing and free delivery.
The B.F. Myers Memorial Day sale. Watch Crisis in the Classroom only on Fox 17 News.
.09 is the time. You have seen the party buses in and around downtown Nashville, and as you can see, sometimes they're not even buses. There's some of everything down there, and some of them can be a hazard, according to local folks who live here, because they can slow down traffic, they make a lot of noise, and sometimes people on board, they're having the time of their lives, but to some who are not drinking, it can look like reckless behavior. That's why the Nashville License and Transportation Commission, the TLC, wants to come up with brand new rules to help regulate them. But there's now a brand new set of vehicles that want to come in, and those are pedicabs. Those are the bicycle-like vehicles with multiple seats on the back. Sometimes they carry 4, sometimes 6 people. One owner of those pedicabs believes that their particular business can make a difference when it comes to people like Riley Strain, the college student who ended up in the Cumberland River. They say there's a lot of people downtown who are walking around and they are too drunk to understand even what's going on.
We're not just a party bus carrying drunk people around. We're there to kind of be this different, eye-level, distinguishable, approachable vehicle that can give people a safe ride home in the midst of this insanity downtown.
Now, she wants to expand the amount of pedicabs in her particular business from 1 to up to 10.
They chase you down, they yell at you, and sometimes it can be scary and it can be threatening.
Continuing coverage as more people come forward with stories about problems with unlicensed taxi cabs. This is some really scary stuff, and now some people are worried that it will tarnish Nashville's reputation as a destination for fun. Now, several musicians say they have been ripped off or threatened by taxi drivers who don't have a Metro license to work anywhere in and around downtown. They say it's hard to tell which taxis are licensed and which ones are not. Matt Greer, who is one of the local musicians, says that he performs at bars like Tootsie's and Honky Tonk Central. He says that he's got friends who's been slapped by these drivers. He says he's been ripped off as well because drivers are not using the meter that they're supposed to be using.
They get scammed. They get in, they plug their phone in, and then they get told they can't go in. They go to grab their phone, and next thing you know, they're getting punched by the taxi driver.
Well, Fox 17 News has reached out to the director of the Transportation License Commission at least twice this week to see if they are aware of this issue. So far, we have not heard back from them. We have heard from one of the board members who say that the regulations and enforcement people who can respond to this complaints are around, and they just need to be aware about it. People are saying more needs to be done to make it obvious on the outside of the taxi which one of these things are legal and which ones are not.
And happening next, continuing to monitor rain that is out there. A rather rainy now lower Broadway. We're talking about some of our first showers of the morning in Nashville. Other areas have had some heavier showers. We'll talk about some thunderstorms as well.
Crashing downtown.
We've been breathing this.
Lots of people don't realize that mold feeds off moisture in their crawl space. But don't worry, we got this.
At AFS, we'll do a home inspection for free.
8:15, taking a look at your forecast. We'll start off here with the radar that continues to clear out for many of us here who are in our southern counties. You guys started with the heavier rain a good 3-4 hours ago. Now you have even a little bit of sunshine creeping into a few of our neighborhoods. Taking a look at Nashville itself, our first decent downpour of the last 2 to 3 hours has moved in. It is just steady, consistent rainfall. We have no thunder or lightning. Rain will start to get a little bit lighter if you're in the Smyrna or the Vernon areas, continuing to slowly chug its way along to the north, as are all of our showers this morning. Here's the Nashville radar. Nothing impressive. We've not really seen much in terms of flooding overnight into this morning either, which is the reason why we're in code red. It was the precaution of having any flooding that could pop up. The fact we haven't seen any is really good, and that means that we won't have to worry about the rest of the weekend for severe weather. Taking a look, this morning everything becomes much more hit and miss for the afternoon. Most of our afternoon hours are going to be dry. Temperatures in the middle 70s and a lot of mugginess. We're not going to escape that. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., we're dry. 5 o'clock goes into 11, and then things begin to pick up. Your morning hours of tomorrow look really nice, and these latest computer models here are all kind of in agreement that the morning, if we're lucky, may stay completely rain-free. It is the afternoon toward the evening when showers and storms, mainly east of I-65 and south of I-40, will flare up. And then Sunday morning, starting off relatively dry as well. Muggy meter, though, keeps climbing up a little bit here day by day. And unfortunately, it will continue to be that way as well. Not just for the weekend, but the weekend and beyond. Let's talk 7-day. 75 degrees this afternoon, 84 tomorrow, 84 degrees on Sunday. And then a pair of 88s. We're feeling hot Monday and Tuesday. Monday has a chance, if we can break up enough of the cloud cover out there, to hit the 90-degree mark. And all of our nighttime temps the next few days holding steadily in the 60s.
Steer clear traffic takes us downtown. Let's get to I-24 at Shelby Avenue. That's where we do have a crash on the shoulder of the road. The Tennessee Department of Transportation has gotten there now, and they're trying to help out as far as trying to make sure that people don't run up on this particular crash. They're asking everyone to move over, at least slow down as you deal with this. So this is going to cause some delays going through downtown Nashville. Not enough of a delay for you to get off and try to get around it. Just give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes. So you should do that anyway because the rain is falling. Here is something else we've been following. Looks like it's clearing up. Briley Parkway out there at Opry Mills Drive. We had some police activity out there with another car pulled over. Looks like that situation is clearing as we speak, so no more need to worry about that.
Justin, thank you. We also have an update to a breaking traffic story that we first showed you as breaking news yesterday. We now know one man was killed in the crash that happened on I-65 North near the Vietnam Veterans Boulevard exit. Traffic, we told you, was delayed for hours. Well, new information shows Roger Rowland was driving south in the wrong lane when he hit a semi head-on. He died at the scene. The driver of the semi, though, is being treated for minor injuries, and the investigation is ongoing.
It is 8:18 right now, and new information this morning on what led up to a deadly shooting at a gas station in Murfreesboro. It happened at the 7-Eleven Exxon on Joe B. Jackson Parkway Wednesday. According to police, an argument over the ownership of a car may have been the motive behind this shooting. Police say during the fight, several people got shot, including 23-year-old Devon Loritz. He ended up going to the hospital where he later died. Detectives, by the way, have charged 26-year-old Juan Charco of Antioch with second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder. Juan Charco being held in the Rutherford County Adult Detention Center on a $1.5 million bond. A court date set for July 17th.
New this Friday morning, want to let you know the Special Olympics of Tennessee, their chapter is starting their games this morning with more than 1,000 athletes. Love this story. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joining us live right outside of Lipscomb University. Peyton, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Erica. So after training all year round, just like you said, thousands of athletes get to compete in the Tennessee Special Olympics. And not only that, but they get to march in the Olympics, in the Special Olympics, just like the real Olympics, and they get to represent their hometowns. Now, it's also important to note it's raining. With the weather, the Special Olympics coordinators tell us that they're prepared. They have both indoor and outdoor facilities set up for the events. Now, track and field, swimming, volleyball, and powerlifting are a few of the sports that athletes get to compete in. But this year, the organization introduces another sport, pickleball. The best part about the Special Olympics, Justin Bradford says, the community this event brings together.
Just to see pure unfiltered joy. And just seeing people being able to have fun, to be included, and to be able to compete, beat their personal best, set new personal records, and just have an absolute blast.
That's right. Now, the Special Olympics representative, Bradford, says the athletes tell him every year seeing their friends is the best part. There's a special guest speaker. There's also merch, vendors, and again, we do want to let you know that for the event, they are prepared for conditions like this. Reporting live at Lipscomb University, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you so much. It is just about 8:21. Get ready for a good time this weekend. Lots of events going on. Don't let the weather, hold you down. We're going to tell you about what you can look forward to next.
And maybe you're going to be playing football this weekend. We want to hear from you. Look at this question over on our Fox Nashville X account. Do you think the Titans have a difficult schedule this season? We're talking about their schedule.
But hurry in to get the best selection. Check our inventory at sarahclarksville.com.
We are busy keeping up with golf community updates this morning with the breaking news. World #1 golfer Scottie Scheffler is back at the Valhalla Golf Course over in Louisville. Now, this comes hours after he was detained by the police department there on the way to the PGA Championship. Right now on your screen is the mugshot from the Louisville Police Department. Louisville police say that Scheffler is charged with felony assault of a police officer, criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding signals from officers. An ESPN reporter says that Scheffler was driving past the scene of a deadly hit and run right outside of the golf course this morning, but reportedly, according to police, did not stop when an officer asked him to. The reporter says Scheffler dragged the officer for a short time before ultimately stopping. Scheffler has since, though, been released from jail. By the way, he is due back in court May 21st, next week.
I'm sure we have not heard the last of this. All right, thank you so much, Erica. Well, looking for something to do this weekend. The Franklin Rodeo is going on at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park. And boy, if you are interested, they can really whip you into shape.
Yeah, in case you missed the morning show yesterday, we had a trick rider who quite literally got things whipped around here. The Franklin Rodeo brings more than 18,000 fans for several nights of bull riding, roping, barrel racing, and more. If you want to see the video, we've posted it to our social media pages.
Absolutely, and turn up the volume extra loud if you really want to enjoy it that way. It takes about 300 volunteers to get that rodeo going each and every night, so they're glad to be out there. Let's talk about another event that we also featured right here on Fox 17 News this morning. The Tennessee Whiskey Trails, inviting everyone to celebrate Tennessee spirits and cap off Whiskey Week at their Top of the Rocks cocktail competition that's coming up on Sunday. Now, this event will feature bartenders, mixologists from across the South and develop some creative cocktails in a unique contest.
All right, so once again, this event starts at 2 p.m. Sunday, happening at the Acme Feed and Seed downtown.
And a few more events we have going on this weekend. You do see it says code red alert right there, but it's not for severe weather today or tomorrow. We're monitoring some heavy rainfall in a few pockets, and we'll deep dive into the radar in a few. But just keeping the weekend trend going. Tour de Nash tomorrow, 7 a.m., 63 degrees, 72 at 11, and 76 degrees at 2 p.m. Now, there could be an isolated shower or storm during that time frame. I will tell you this, the morning hours are trending more and more on the dry side. So that's 7 a.m. through 11 a.m. I'll likely be pulling the rain out of the forecast for that if things continue to look how they do. The afternoon, an isolated shower or storm cannot be ruled out. You're going to have wet pavement. Keep that in mind. Aw, hello. Then we have the mud strut on Sunday at Shelby Bottoms Greenway, 63 degrees. Very similar temperature profiles both days for the mornings into early afternoon. An isolated shower or two can't be ruled out. But once again, the morning trending drier and drier every time I see new updates to the forecast. Just plan for the possibility of rain, but I would not cancel your plans for either one of those events as long as you can handle wet pavement and wet grass. I wonder if our dog of the day, Kiwi, can handle some wet grass. I know that if there's a stick in the yard, he'll probably go out there and get it no matter what. Taking a look here, Jamie and Matt from Murfreesboro, thank you for the photo. We will take a look at the radar. We'll track rain incoming this morning and then take a look at how long we might have to stay code red before things improve drastically for the rest of the weekend.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 at Shelby Avenue in downtown. A bit of a tie-up there. We're going to tell you about some other scenes around town.
And in our next half hour, we will have the latest on the little boy from Rutherford County.
Wow. Saturday at 3 on Fox 17. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Alive Hospice. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Charges for the man who is accused of shooting at a pizza delivery driver in Ashland City have been increased. Coming up, I'll have the details and you'll hear reaction from the delivery driver himself.
And you can see Karen has the umbrella there, and that's a look, well, supposed to be a look downtown. Visibility reduced a bit because of rain that is coming down. We're in a code red weather alert just for now, monitoring some heavy rainfall that could lead to flooding.
I-24 Shelby Avenue has a current traffic crash that is slowing things down just a bit in downtown Nashville. We'll tell you about the best ways to deal with this and areas that are starting to clear.
All right, take it slow out there. Thank you, though, for waking up with us here on a Friday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are your live local news source through 9 a.m. We have 30 minutes to go. And let's get a current check of that radar and see how much rain has fallen and what we're still expecting through the morning.
Yeah, it looks a little misty out there, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, that really is how we are. We're a little bit misty, so that's given us some visibility issues. It looks a lot worse than it actually is outside, though. We'll take a look at the radar. We have no thunder or lightning. These are not thunderstorms. But yes, it will cut down visibility. It will give you some wet pavement. You might have to take it a little easy, use the headlights, use the windshield wipers, the whole 9 yards. But compared to our radar picture an hour ago, we have cleared out most of our heavy downpours. Now we're looking into portions of southern Kentucky where we're seeing the most moderate to heavy rainfall. Nashville itself, pretty light. How do you distinguish the light to heavy rainfall? Well, you look for the colors. Greens, steady, consistent, light. Yellows and oranges, those pockets, those little bursts that reduce the visibility and do give you, again, some pockets of standing water across Middle Tennessee, but no flooding as of right now. I've seen no indications of it. I've heard nothing, and I've seen nothing from the Weather Service, National Weather Service, not showing anything. If we keep this going through 9 o'clock, we'll continue to watch these showers break up, and that means that we'll be well set up for the rest of today. There'll be a few more isolated showers and storms that do track through. So here's future track, 11 o'clock, taking us into the afternoon. More dry hours than anything. What does pop up, even if we get a storm, no severe weather. So if we can make it to the next half hour, I'm still not seeing flooding, we're going to cancel code red for the rest of today and just work through knowing that there could be a storm or two that would be on the weak side. Temperatures today are going to be in the middle 70s, right side of your screen. Current temps are right there for you all the way through 9 o'clock every morning, even during commercial breaks. Waking up this morning in the 60s.
Steer clear traffic at 8:33. Now let's take a look at what we're dealing with in downtown Nashville. This is going to be I-24 at Shelby Avenue. TDOT is on the scene with a 2-car crash on the shoulder. It looks fine getting past it, but back behind it, there's a bit of a drag. Give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes if you know you're traveling from the north side, say from Trinity Lane or Metro Center past Nissan Stadium towards I-24. This is going to affect you. You're going to give yourself an extra few minutes, and you should do that anyway because because it is raining out there. This is I-40 at Charlotte. Over in West Nashville, the rainfall has come here. The streets are wet, but they're not all that wet everywhere. Look at I-65 at Moore's Lane. They've had some light rain maybe, but nowhere near as much rain as we've had here in Metro Nashville, it would seem. So the streets are out there a little bit drier this morning.
Justin, thank you. Right now, we do have continuing coverage this Friday morning as we follow up on the story of 10-year-old Rutherford County Asher Sullivan. He was injured during last week's flooding.
Asher swept into a storm drain while he was out in his neighborhood streets playing with other children, and the entire community, even beyond, has been praying for his recovery. Asher has been at the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital fighting for his life. We're taking a live look now at Twitter, where Asher's father, Dr. Jimmy Sullivan, has been constantly sharing updates. He's been on Twitter. He's been on Facebook. This is the update as of yesterday, where he wrote, and I quote, "No changes yesterday or today. Meeting with the care team this afternoon," this would have been yesterday afternoon, "to start having the hard conversations about next steps and brain baseline function."
And just yesterday, too, he shared a photo of the Vanderbilt baseball team that came over to the hospital and met with them and just said some prayers. But to your point, Jen, a lot of folks reaching out, showing their support. If you want to check out, too, there is a GoFundMe account that has been set up to help this family. You can do that by going to fox17.com and searching out Sullivan.
Right now, a story that has been gaining a lot of traction, especially after our first round of reporting. The pizza delivery driver who got the scare of his life making a stop at the wrong house gets shot at 7 times in Ashland City.
Well, our Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live where all of this happened, giving us another update, getting his reaction to.
Good morning. 18-year-old Caden Wheeler tells me that he feels justice was served when Ryan Babcock's charge was upped from aggravated assault to several counts, including attempted second-degree murder. Now, this comes, as you might remember, after he says that Babcock shot at him several times in this driveway behind me on North Pole Street in Ashland City at the end of last month. Wheeler says he was trying to deliver a Domino's pizza to a home right next to Babcock's, but parked in the wrong driveway. He says Babcock came out of his home when Wheeler returned to his truck and shot at him 7 times, one of the bullets nearly missing his head. His family wanted more to be done after Babcock was initially charged with aggravated assault, and they say was released shortly after. Last week, the grand jury charged Babcock with attempted second-degree murder. He was charged in 5 other counts, including 3 counts of reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and vandalism. Now that the verdict is in, Wheeler tells me he is satisfied, but his life will never be the same.
I would say it's still there, and I'm still rattled by it because if I hear I heard a car pop because of exhaust, and that kind of got me a little usually I never jump up at that stuff and get scared, but there's little things here and there that might get me here and there, but it's definitely something you think about every day.
He tells me he's just trying to forget what happened and is looking forward to moving on and his graduation next week. Reporting live in Ashland City, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Well, we are off to a rainy start this Friday, but how is the weather going to impact Tour de Nash? What you need to be mindful of as you hit the road this weekend.
And right now at 8:37, we do have a live look. In fact, 2 of them right now into Nashville, giving you a look at the skyline and Geodis Park. By the way, in case you missed the breaking news, Nashville SC has fired their head coach as we take a look at Geodis. Welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning on this Friday. It's 8:40. May is National Bike Month, and kicking things off here tomorrow will be Walk Bike Nashville's 20th annual Tour de Nash.
Tour de Nash, okay, so if you're new to the city, you haven't seen this before, this is providing an opportunity for everyone out there on the bikes to explore the city with the bikeways through neighborhoods and other greenways with the other cyclists of Nashville. You and your entire family can participate as there are different routes for different types of riding styles out there.
Event planners say this will be the first year that Nashville has ever had different open street events for this race, so ought to be a lot of fun for the people who were there to watch it all.
Well, we are getting new details this morning from the Nashville Business Journal. It turns out that Southern Living, Southern Living magazine that's been out there forever and ever.
I think my mom had it in the living room when I was little.
It's been around forever and ever. They've identified 25 best cities on the rise in the United States. And guess what? The past couple of places they have named right here in the Volunteer State, they have made the cut.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the newest rankings. Franklin coming in at number 2 on this year's list. The city that beat Franklin, Tennessee, Wilmington, North Carolina. We also have Clarksville on the list, one of the fastest growing cities we know in the country. Absolutely. I mean, we see it every day, even in the traffic. So that's on the list coming in at number 18.
Then, of course, Bowling Green, Kentucky, just up of I-65, about 45 minutes from Nashville. It also appears there on the list at number 7 on their Southern Living list.
8:42, the weather has been a factor here recently. I know that, so many folks are still cleaning up from the tornadoes over the last week, 10 in all. We have been in a code red weather alert for today because of the risk of flooding. Right now, if you don't see the rain, the muggy meter will be very high. Look at that. In between muggy and sticky, kind of close to that nope category. But Greg, just wanted to warn you, you could be dodging some showers and also just maybe a hat day. If your hair gets real frizzy, know what I mean?
The frizz going on.
Yeah, we'll check in with Greg here again in just a few minutes.
All right, steer clear traffic. We'll follow that up next with a look. Downtown Nashville, dealing with Metro Police as they are wrestling with an accident on the shoulder of the road. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear. Dennis?
Double murder death penalty cases are supposed to be open and shut cases. But this case, this Smoky Mountains case,
Busters, we think it's amazing too. Get to our Memorial Day sale going on now, only at American Signature Furniture.
Welcome back. Time right now is 8:45 and not a whole lot happening here in the Nashville area. A couple of light rain showers, but we've been putting down buckets full of rain almost every other day here when it comes down to the forecast. So when to mow them? I mean, your lawn might be up to here at this point, but today is not going to be a good day for it. Neither will tomorrow. By the end of Sunday, you may work your way into the chance for a little lawn action out there, but really I wouldn't say until Monday. And Monday's going to be hot, so keep that in mind too. Do it early in the day or do it when you get home from work. Weekend itself looks ominous when you see the dark cloud and all the lightning and everything. No, not the whole day. Morning hours going to be dry for your Saturday. Afternoon, a few scattered thunderstorms all week in nature. There will be a few storms for today as well later on this afternoon, but I'm about to do something here in about 10 minutes. We're probably going to lift our code red because we're getting new updates here. Things are looking much better. We'll time out your weekend one more time and look at your 7-day forecast in about 6 minutes.
Greg, thank you very much. At 8:46 right now, he is the next man scheduled for execution right here in Tennessee. Gary Sutton on death row for 33 years after being convicted of a double murder in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains.
Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier, though, has been looking into this case for nearly 2 years, investigating evidence that calls Sutton's guilt into question.
It really does. This double murder case in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains is so full of holes, you wonder how they ever convicted him. That feeling is spreading as the Sutton case sits on the governor's desk for a critical review. Carolyn Miller was young and in love with Gary Sutton. She still remembers the day he was arrested for murdering his best friend Tommy Griffin with a shotgun and then burning Griffin's sister alive in her car. Miller said they thought the charges would be dropped after they realized Gary had nothing to do with it.
We didn't have money for the right attorneys, the right investigators, and you don't think that you're going to be put in prison for something you know you didn't do, and on the backside of it, they know he didn't do it.
Sutton and his uncle James Dillinger were convicted and given the death penalty, even though the detective who promised 3 eyewitnesses provided none.
0 eyewitnesses, 0 motive, no murder weapon, nothing. And all these people that they said they had, they didn't.
We found 2 witnesses who actually felt like their testimony was manipulated. Barbara Jones told us she can't identify the car she saw or who was in it. Another witness, Jason McDonald, says a key part of his testimony was omitted. The part where he said he heard a shot and saw a car that did not belong to Sutton or his uncle. And then Tina Hartman shows up, a witness never interviewed, who identifies a new suspect, Lester Johnson, with a strong motive he's never even questioned. This all comes to light after Miller hires Nashville private detective Heather Cohen to reinvestigate the case. One of the most alarming aspects, the day they find Tommy Griffin's body by a creek, there is no evidence of the shotgun shells. Then, days later, detectives say they find 2 shotgun shells perfectly side by side at the crime scene. Here's another problem with the case. The prosecution needed Tommy Griffin to have been murdered on Friday. It had to be Friday to support the theory. 3 pathologists believe Griffin was murdered on Monday or Sunday because when Tommy Griffin's body was discovered, he's in full rigor mortis. In case you didn't know, bodies don't stay in rigor mortis that long. Nevertheless, Charles Harlan, as a witness for the prosecution, says Griffin died on Friday. Dr. Harlan ended up losing his medical license when the Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners concluded he had committed numerous acts of malpractice, fraud, deceit, and unprofessional conduct. This is the doctor who helps convict Gary Sutton in disagreement with multiple reputable doctors?
It was scientifically impossible because when they found Tommy Griffin's body on Monday, February 24th, his body was in full rigor mortis. And a human body only stays in rigor mortis for up to 36 hours. So there's no way that he had been murdered on Friday night.
The case is so shaky, a group of lawmakers and other elected officials have asked the governor for a complete review and meeting to discuss Sutton's case. State Senator Paige Wally.
I just wanted to make sure that if we're going to have someone pay that kind of price for a crime, that we ought to darn well be sure they're the ones that did it. And there seems to be enough evidence to me to warrant another look.
Meanwhile, Gary Sutton waits, finally hopeful again, not just waiting to die.
I literally got to a point, Dennis. I've got a family that loves me, that knows I didn't do this, and I finally reached a point of where if I'd kept asking them, they would have kept spending money. And I mean, they fought and fought and fought. And I literally reached a point when I said, look, y'all need to go in and live y'all's life and quit spending money, because I thought, wait, I just felt like I was banging my head against a wall.
All possible because of the unlikely return of Carolyn Miller. She moved on to a new life after Sutton's conviction and only returned when he had a temporary execution date. It made her want to talk to him. She ended up back in love with him.
I know he's innocent, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do and whatever I can do to prove his innocence, because Gary's been sitting on death row for 33 years for something he did absolutely not do.
So 2 things going on right now. Public defender is reviewing the case, trying to get it into court again, while the governor, that would be a different path. He's got the case. He could do a variety of things to make this go away.
Right. Man, I know you're going to be watching it, Dennis. This is one you've already been on for a couple years.
Yes.
And not over yet. So
well, we'll stay till the end.
We'll look forward to more reporting.
Dennis Farrier, thank you for joining us.
Steer clear traffic out there at I-24 at Shelby Avenue. Give yourself extra time if you're going to be making your way through downtown Nashville until they get that crash.
Got my initial offer 10x'd, and I never even got a check. I just got a direct deposit into my bank account. It's so easy.
Looking ahead to tonight in the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated, they say, with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services.
Diving into this story, the family fostering 2 young boys and then said they grew to love them. They understood that the goal was to reunite the children with their birth parents, but they say both boys were better off in their care. The couple says that DCS abruptly removed the children, and now they're worried about their safety and are fighting to regain custody.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was we didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, you know, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that Nobody's really cared enough.
Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our investigative reporter Amanda Chen digs into this couple's concerns and why some believe Tennessee's foster care system needs to change.
And one more look at your weather here. You're going to notice something when they come back out to us here at the desk because the lights are going to be blue. We're dropping code red. I have no worries of flooding for the rest of the morning. Rain is moving out. We're going to have isolated showers and weak thunderstorms into the afternoon. Very hit and miss, many dry hours. And then a few more storms for tomorrow.
Head to asadeals.com right now for this very, very exclusive offer.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The leader of Rick Monroe and the Hitmen. Rick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we've been trying to make this happen like for a year.
For a while.
Yeah. First off, we got to talk about this new album, though. Just came out in April, Six Gun Soul. And I love the artwork, but what I love more are the songs on here. And I know the song Which Way Is Home seems a little autobiographical.
It is. It's actually the second song that Alan Beeler, who's the bass player who I wrote pretty much most of the stuff with, I think that was like the second song that we had worked on.
Right.
And it was basically about the fact that we travel so much.
Yeah.
And you know, if you look at where I'm from, I was born in Florida.